Good day, distinguished speakers, young leaders, innovators, and participants from around the world. Welcome to the 9th Youth Forum on SDG implementation. I'm Haekyung Shelley Choi, and I serve as the Senior Program Management Assistant at the United Nations Project Office on Governance, which is a part of the Division for Public Institutions and Digital Government of UNDESA. It is my absolute pleasure to be the Master of Ceremony of this Youth Forum. Today's theme, which is Youth as Innovators, Driving AI Solutions for Sustainable Development, could not be timelier. The UN Secretary General, Antonio Guterres, has reminded us this. As artificial intelligence reshapes our world, young people must also be front and center in shaping digital policies and institutions. So over the next 3.5 hours, we will explore how artificial intelligence can be harnessed to accelerate progress on the Sustainable Development Goals, with particular focus on SDG 16, peace, justice, and strong institutions. We will hear from inspiring youth innovators, experts, and leaders who are already making a difference. We are honored to have distinguished opening speakers with us today. Let me introduce them in order. First, we will hear from Mr. Chang-Sup Han, Head of Office at UNPOG, DPIDG, UNDESA, who will provide opening remarks on behalf of the United Nations. Next, we will welcome Mr. Young-Seo Park, Director General of the International Administrative Cooperation Bureau at the Ministry of the Interior and Safety of the Republic of Korea, representing our key government partner. And finally, Ms. Hyun-Suk Ri, Advisory Ambassador for International Organizations from Incheon Metropolitan City. She will share perspectives from the local government level. Each speaker has been allocated 5 minutes for the remarks. So now, without further delay, let me invite Mr. Chang-Sup Han to deliver his opening remarks. Mr. Han, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, innovators, change makers, future leaders. As we commemorated the International Youth Day on 12th August, we celebrate your leadership, creativity, and determination to shape a more inclusive and sustainable future. Today, we come together not just as observers of change, we gather as its architects. The world is transforming at breathtaking speed. Artificial intelligence is reshaping how we work, learn, and solve problems. Data tools that didn't exist 5 years ago are now driving solutions for climate action, poverty reduction, and peace building. But here's what matters most. You are not just watching this transformation, you are leading it. As Secretary General Guterres said so well, as artificial intelligence reshapes our world, young people must also be front and center in shaping data policies and institutions. Look around this virtual room. Feel the energy here. See the innovation. Sense the determination to make things better. You represent something powerful. 3/4 of people your age use the internet. You are digital natives. But more than that, you are digital pioneers. Today's themes says it all. Youth as innovators, driving AI solutions for sustainable development. Notice those words, not youth learning about AI or youth preparing for the future, but youth driving solutions right now. The Sustainable Development Goals demand exactly this kind of thinking. SDG 16 calls for effective, accountable, and inclusive institutions. AI can help achieve this, and you can make it happen. Your generation understands three truths that earlier generations struggled with. First, technology is not separate from society. It shapes society. Second, innovation without ethics is dangerous. You value fairness, transparency, and accountability. Third, global challenges require local solutions. You think globally, but act locally in your communities. Let's be honest, the stakes are high. Only 17% of SDG targets are on track. We have just 5 years until 2030, 5 years to deliver on promises made to billions of people. AI can accelerate progress toward 80% of the SDGs, but only if we get it right, only if we build it responsibly. This is your moment, your challenge, your opportunity. The Global Digital Compact, adopted in 2024, sets new frameworks for AI governance. The fact for the future calls for meaningful use engagement. These are not just policy documents, they are invitations for you to lead. Today, you'll hear from experts and youth innovators. You'll see AI solutions in action. You'll collaborate, compete, and create together. The future is not something that simply happened to you. It's something we build. So let us build it together. Let us build it better. Let us build it now. Welcome to the ninth Youth Forum. Let the innovation begin. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Han, for those inspiring opening words and for highlighting the UN's commitment to youth engagement in digital transformation. Why don't we give him a big round of applause? Now, let me invite Mr. Youngsa Park from the Ministry of the Interior and Safety to share his perspectives. DG Park, please go ahead.
Thank you, Shelley. Good afternoon, everyone. Congratulations and welcome all of you to the Ninth Youth Forum. And I'm truly honored and delighted to speak before you at this exciting event. My name is Park Young-seo. I'm Director General for International Administrative Cooperation Bureau at the Ministry of Interior and Safety of the Republic of Korea. Let me first express my sincere gratitude to His Excellency Dr. Han Chang-seok, head of UNPOC, and the entire UNPOC team for their excellent organization of this important forum. I also extend my appreciation to Her Excellency Ambassador Lee Hyun-suk from the Incheon Metropolitan City for joining us today. This year's forum focuses on a timely and forward-looking theme: youth as innovators, driving AI solutions for sustainable development. Indeed, we live in an era where artificial intelligence is reshaping our societies, our economies, and the way we address many global challenges. But more importantly, it is shaping our future. And you, the youth, so-called digital native, are leading this transformation. In that sense, the old generation like me might be called as analog native. Your generation is very special. the most connected, the most educated, and definitely the most innovative in human history. You have the tools, the talent, and the tenacity to harness AI technologies for social good, whether to monitor climate change, improve access to education, support public health, or enhance public services. But innovation must work hand in hand with human ethics. As you develop and deploy AI solutions, you also carry the responsibility to ensure they are inclusive, transparent, and accountable. The conversations in today's forum, particularly on ethical AI governance and the role of youth as public innovators, are not just discussions. They are foundation for the future we are building together. This forum, more than a competition, it's a platform for exchange, inspiration, and collective action. I would like to encourage each of you to be bold and ambitious, to challenge assumptions and to propose ideas that may just change the world. Let's envision a future where AI is not only smart, but fair, where youth are not only future leaders, but a present-day change maker, and where no one is left behind in our pursuit of the UN Sustainable Development Goals. In closing, I would like to congratulate all the finalists of today's competition for your passion, creativity, and commitment. May today's forum be the beginning of lifelong friendship, groundbreaking project, and a deeper commitment to building a better world. In that sense, please enjoy today's forum. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Park, for emphasizing the importance of government youth-led collaboration in AI innovation, and also emphasizing that this youth forum is more than just a competition. Why don't we give DG Park a warm round of applause? Now, let's welcome Ms. Hyun-suk Ri from Incheon Metropolitan City. Ms. Ri, please share your insights.
Distinguished guests and youth leaders from around the world. Warm greetings from Incheon, Republic of Korea. My name is Hyun-suk Ri. I'm Advisory Ambassador for Incheon Metropolitan City on the matters related to the international organizations. It is my great honor to welcome all of you to the 9th Youth Forum on Sustainable Development Goals, with the theme of Youth as Innovators, Driving AI Solutions for Sustainable Development. I believe there are over 750 youth from 73 countries registered for this event today. I'm so honored to be part of this very exciting event. At the outset, I also would like to acknowledge the support provided by UNDESA, UNPOC, Ministry of the Interior and Safety of Korean government, and all to making today's forum possible. All of us here recognize the important role ICT can play as an enabler of achieving the SDGs. With artificial intelligence at its core, this profound digital transformation has been reshaping every aspect of our lives in a very rapid manner. At the same time, we are also aware that In order for this technological advancement to become a powerful tool to drive a meaningful change for people, it is only possible when it is guided by the principle of accountability, ethics, inclusiveness, transparency, and a sense of purpose. In this transformation process, the role of youth can't be overemphasized. With the quality of imagination, courage, and innovative mindset, youth must participate in shaping digital landscape and driving AI solutions for sustainable development. In this regard, today's forum is not just a conference, but it is a platform where your vision and your innovative ideas are shared and discussed to spark real action to shape the future we all desire. When it comes to implementing SDGs, all stakeholders must take actions with the spirit of cooperative partnership. Incheon is the main gate of Korea that connects to and from the world. As a world-class global city, Incheon has been exerting tremendous efforts to promote international cooperation. Incheon now hosts 15 international organizations and offices in Songdo and support realization of sustainable development goals. Its effort will be continued to be a more inclusive and diverse global hub through enhanced partnership. In conclusion, it is my sincere hope that today's event serves as a platform where your ideas come alive and where they grow into tangible solutions for your communities and beyond. On behalf of Incheon Metropolitan City, I offer my full support to each and every one of you. I wish you an inspiring and impactful forum and hope to see you in Incheon in a near future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Rhee, for highlighting the local dimension of youth innovation. And we really look forward to one day of gathering the youths together here in Incheon. These opening remarks have beautifully set the stage for today's discussions, emphasizing the multi-level partnership needed to harness AI for sustainable development. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my great privilege to introduce our keynote speaker, Dr. Philippe Pallier, Assistant Secretary General for Youth Affairs at the United Nations Youth Office. Dr. Pallier is a passionate advocate for youth empowerment and has been instrumental in advancing the UN's youth agenda globally. Dr. Pallier will be addressing us through a pre-recorded video message where he will share his insights on how young people can take the lead in developing ethical and impactful AI solutions for the SDGs. Let's watch Dr. Pallier's pre-recorded video.
Dear friends, my name is Felipe Polier and I serve as the United Nations Assistant Secretary General for Youth Affairs. It is an honor to join you at the opening of the 9th Youth Forum on Sustainable Development Goals Implementation. Artificial intelligence is rapidly transforming our societies. Young people are not bystanders in this transformation. You are leading change, developing innovations that strengthen institutions, that enhance services, and that build more inclusive futures. This forum comes at a critical moment. We are witnessing fast-paced developments in artificial intelligence governance. As parts of the Global Digital Compact, the Independent Scientific Panel on AI and the Global Dialogue on AI Governance are advancing frameworks. These are key steps towards a fair and inclusive and a rights-based digital future. But we must go further. Young people must be recognized not only as beneficiaries of digital transformation, but as essential actors shaping its direction. Formal youth engagement in technology governance is increasing. Youth were front and center at the AI for Good Global Summit and helped to shape UNESCO's recommendations on the ethics of artificial intelligence. There are several examples on how your leadership is already making a global impact. In South Korea, a young innovator created an AI-powered speech therapy platform, now reaching over 700,000 families. In Singapore, students are building AI chatbots for digital safety and education. Across Asia Pacific and East Africa, youth-led efforts are driving ethical, transparent, and inclusive AI for the Sustainable Development Goals. At the UN Youth Office, we believe that youth participation is not optional, but it is essential. We are working to ensure that young people have the tools, the support, and the platforms to shape the digital future. This work demands solidarity across generations and sectors. It requires forums like this one, where ideas are shared, where innovations are showcased, and where purpose is strengthened. To the young leaders here, listen deeply, speak boldly, and collaborate widely. Let us shape a digital future that delivers for all. Thank you.
Let's thank Dr. Pallier for his powerful and inspiring message. His call for youth leadership in shaping our digital future resonates perfectly with today's agenda. Before we move to our technical sessions, let's take a moment for a photo session. Everyone, this is our photo moment. Please turn on your cameras and give us your biggest, beautiful smiles. Let's show the world that, let's show them our energy and the enthusiasm that we have. Technical team, please capture our virtual group photo and please also let us know when it's done. I know we have several pages.
All good. Thank you for smiling, everybody.
Fantastic. These photos will serve as a lasting reminder of today's gathering and the global community we're building around AI for sustainable development. Now we move into the plenary sessions where we'll dive deep into AI applications for SDGs. Our first session, AI for Strengthening Public Institutions and Achieving the SDGs, will be moderated by Mr. Pravin Maharjan. He is the Program Management Expert at UNPOG, DPIDG, UN DASA. Mr. Maharjan will guide us through presentations from leading experts and an interactive discussion. Pravin, I now hand over the virtual floor over to you.
Thank you, Sally. Again, welcome to this 9th Youth Forum on SDG implementation, and welcome to this session 1 on AI for strengthening public institutions and achieving SDGs. In this session, we will explore how AI can be a catalyst for more effective, transparent, and inclusive government, with a special focus on how youth can, shape, implement, and benefit from this advancement. Today, we have two excellent speakers with us who will share their insight on AI potential, challenges, and opportunities in public sector, particularly from the perspective of youth empowerment and engagement. Let's begin with our first presentation. So our first speaker is Mr. Junho Lee, who is Associate Expert at Division for Public Institution and for Digital Government, UNDESA. He will speak on AI in the public sector, opportunities and challenges for youth empowerment and engagement. Juno, you have the floor.
Thank you so much, Pravin. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much. So first and foremost, thanks to our colleagues in Unplugged for inviting me. Hello from New York. My name is Juno, and as Pravin introduced me, I'm a colleague to Pravin and a good friend at the same time. So I would like to speak a little bit about the opportunities and challenges for use in terms of AI. But before we dive into our main topic, I want to briefly highlight that while AI is a hot topic today, it's not a brand new concept. It goes back as far as 1943, when Dr. Warren first developed a mathematical model of how the brain works. Also, the term artificial intelligence has been around since 1956. And even the first chatbot was created in 1966. So in short, the idea of AI has been around for nearly 80 decades. But the real question is, why is it making headlines these days? And there are many reasons and for why. And the first reason, usually it's due to for advanced in computing capacity. So if you're familiar with the Moore's law, you'll know that it predicts that the number of transistor of a microchip roughly doubles every 2 years, and that the trend has fueled enormous leaps in processing capability. Also, the computer memory cost and also storage cost has dropped dramatically, making it possible to run faster and complex algorithm and store more data. Also, including the cost of connectivity, the cost of connectivity has reduced dramatically also throughout the last year. Another reason is the increasing capability. So in the early days, AI models were useful for very specific tasks. For example, performing complex calculation or mastering games like chess or Go. However, today AI technologies have a much broader reach. They can not only recognize speech or translate languages, but also generate realistic images and write code and instantly search for eventually anything that you need. But in my personal view, the biggest reason is the surge in interest in digital technology. And in part, this was accelerated by the recent pandemic that we experienced about 4 to 5 years ago. Uh, Digital technologies and digital governance has been discussed for more than 2 decades. In fact, our division, our branch, we produced what's called the e-government survey, and it began in 2001. But we saw a sharp increase in the attention and adoption of this e-government survey starting from 2020. And I think Dr. Kun will also agree with me when he says in his famous phrase, crisis loosens the rules of normal puzzle solving in ways that ultimately permit a new paradigm to emerge. So I think this is the reason behind why we see such a dramatic increase in AI capabilities this day. Now that we have seen how AI has evolved or why it's gaining attention, I want to focus on the main topic of my speech, which is the opportunities and challenges that AI presents. So I think it's not hard to see the benefits of AI these days. It's used almost everywhere in our daily lives. So for example, in the past, if you want to choose a movie, or any type of content per se, we had to carefully read through the reviews, the evaluation, the comments to decide what we might enjoy. However, now it's as easy as going to a Netflix and they will just AI or machine learning algorithm will do that work for us. They will analyze our viewing history and make personalized recommendation tailored to our preferences based on our records. Not just in our hobbies or entertainment, AI is also transforming the professional sphere. So, for example, back in the past, when I used to be a college student, research meant long hours of libraries, manually sifting through books, journals, or paper archives. However, today, research often begins with AI-powered tools that can instantly search vast databases, summarize key findings, and even suggest new angles to explore. So very much convenient. Not only these, but there are many other opportunities these days. For example, in the past, developing a software programs or algorithm require years of technical expertise, countless hours of codings, or sometimes even days of codings. But today, you can accomplish many of these tasks with only basic understanding of coding. Or in some cases, you don't have to code at all. Thanks to large language models, you can simply describe what you want, and the AI will generate the code for you, what we call these days vibe coding also. Another major advantage or opportunity in this is the rapid growing market. So according to data from UNCTAD report, the global AI market was already valued at around 189 billion USD in 2023. But this project will be quadruple in the next, say, 10 years, and will reach around 4.8 trillion USD dollars by 2033. So thanks to this dramatic growth and the interest in the market, numerous AI-related startups have flourished in recent years, including companies like Lunit and Elo Learning. I remember that when I was in college, it was really hard to explain to venture capital what an AI technology is and how will that make a change. But now, as soon as you have AI component in your business model, it will immediately gain attention. So you can see how the market has changed and providing a lot of good opportunities to future generations. And of course, I can go on and on with the list of benefits and opportunities of AI technologies. To name some few, capability of overcoming dangerous risks such as the COVID-19, increased productivity or cost effectiveness by automating repetitive tasks, also enhancing the decision making by analyzing vast amount of data to uncover patterns, or increase accessibility and inclusion by utilizing AI-powered tools such as text-to-speech or speech-to-text, which sometimes can be very beneficial for people with disabilities. So, but now let me also mention some of the challenges that these AI technologies will bring, and let me focus on the technical aspect of the challenges. So I would like to start with this picture. I don't know if everybody here has watched this TV series that is on Netflix. It's called Culinary Class More. So basically, it's a reality cooking competition show where chefs compete with each other to try to make their best dishes. And I think this is one of the best scenes that I like from that series. And the reason it's because it really relates with AI technology. So Chef Choi here in this episode, he says to his fellow colleagues, there's only one thing more important than a chef in the kitchen, which is the ingredients. And I love this phrase because it's really what AI is. At the end of the day, AI is a bunch of algorithms that learns patterns on solving problems, but based on the ingredients, which are data. So flaws in the data can lead to a serious problem. And let me give you a real world example of what can be a data bias induced problem. So the Justice Department of National Institute of Correction was encouraging to use combined risk assessment method, also including machine learning algorithm, to assess the risk of a imprisoned person to commit the crime, not the same crime, but of course any other crime afterwards. And the researchers obtained a risk scores assigned to more than 7,000 people arrested in Broward County in Florida from 2013 to 2014, and they checked to see how many were charged with new crimes over the next 2 years. It turned out that only 20% of the people predicted to commit violent crimes actually went on to do so, including this particular case that I'm showing in my presentation here. So here, Burnham Prater was picked up shoplifting $86 worth of tools, and Brisha Borden was arrested with a friend for grabbing an unlocked bike and scooter and tried to ride down the street. And when they did the assessment throughout this computer program, even though Vernon Prater has three prior offenses, including two armed robberies, one attempt armed robbery, he got a low risk, only 3 points in terms of riskness. And Brisha Borden, you can see that she only had 4 juvenile misdemeanors, and she was evaluated to have a high risk with 8 points. What happened 2 years later? Prater is serving an 80-year prison term for subsequently breaking into a warehouse and stealing thousands of dollars of worth of electronic, while Brisha Borden was not arrested thereafter for any committed crime. So you can see AI-based bias based on data can sometimes unintendedly discriminate against a specific ethnicity or specific people if it's not controlled or inputted with the correct data. Other familiar challenges that you might already know, since most of the young generation here present in this meeting are expert in this field, are hallucination or psychopathy. So I am sure that you still remember the early days of ChatGPT when you ask for a reference link and you click it to check it, and sometimes it will give you errors, or sometimes it will take you to a completely not relevant website, which is one of the cases of hallucination. But nowadays, also, psychopathy is one of the risks that is being mentioned more and more, which is eventually if you keep telling AI, I think you're wrong. At some point, AI might want to just appease you and say, "Oh, you're right," even though you're wrong, just to satisfy you. So those are other risks that are and challenges that we have to overcome when we're developing all these AI solutions for the public sector. But not only these ones. So you can see a graph here on the right-hand side about an agentic AI, the life cycle of how an agentic AI works. And you can see there are many, many challenges in the middle, starting from the prompt to all the way to generating output. So there can be prompt injections, model poisoning, data poisoning, and many, many different type of vulnerabilities. So just to conclude my presentation and wrap it up, so how can we enable younger generation or future leaders like yourselves to enjoy the full benefit of AI technology while minimizing its risk? I think there are 3 main ways that I would like to highlight here. So of course, we need a good quality of education. Teaching future generation is not just about helping them use AI tools effectively, but also understanding the risk of encouraging responsible use. So there are many powerful tools being released these days, even as we speak. So we need good quality education on those new tools and understanding of them. And examples of those are BLMs or MCPs or agentic AI or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Also, we need to provide stage and platform, such as this forum. I think it's an excellent example of those platform. And we should provide opportunities to young generation, future leaders like yourselves to speak up in this kind of forum, and also provide you the opportunity to learn from experts, receive feedbacks, and also develop from those experiences. Last but not least, I think we must create a flexible environment, and we can use mechanisms such as sandboxes that we have used before for other type of technologies to allow young innovators to freely explore and experiment with their ideas while still controlling and minimizing the potential risk. So with this, I would like to conclude my presentation. For more information, you can always go to our e-government survey 2024. There's an addendum on artificial intelligence, which explains you what is AI basically and how it's a good opportunity, but at the same time, a challenge of using it in the public sector, specifically in digital governance. So thank you for your attention, and I would like to conclude my presentation here. Thank you.
Thank you, Juno, for highlighting the history of AI, its opportunities and challenges, and also the potential of AI to enhance, youth participation, and the consideration we must address along the way. Now, let us hear from our second speaker. Our second speaker is Miss Luisa Franco Luisa Franco Machado, a young UN leader for the Sustainable Development Goal, a digital rights activist, and a published data justice researcher. She will speak on harnessing AI for transparent and accountable governance through youth innovation. Ms. Machado, the floor is yours.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Pravin and Desa for having me. Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're speaking from. Please put in the chat wherever you're speaking from. I'm Louisa. I'm speaking from London in the UK, although I am from Brazil. I wanted to start my presentation asking you to reflect a little bit on the theme that I'm going to be talking about. So I titled this presentation, The System Now, a Gen Z researcher's take on the future of AI-powered public institutions. And before I start, I wanted you to reflect a little bit on what is your take on the future of AI in public institutions? What is the state of the system now? In my opinion, in my view, when we talk about AI in governance, people often picture the future. But as we just heard, AI is already here, and it's been here much before ChatGPT was a thing. It's been here for decades, and it's been used in the public sector for a long time already as well. It's deciding how resources are distributed, who's categorized as high risk, which communities get priority or scrutiny. That's why I call this talk The System Now, because the real question is not whether AI will be used in public institutions. It already is. The question is whether our governance systems can keep pace, correct for harm, and ensure that power is actually exercised fairly. So over the next 10 minutes, I'll be taking you through what's working, what's breaking, and how youth are already changing the system. A brief introduction about who I am. I'm Luisa Franco Machado. I'm a data economist, a social scientist. I hold 2 master's degrees on public policy from Sciences Po and on public administration from the London School of Economics. I'm also the founder of a digital rights lab that is reshaping equitable AI and data governance called Equilabs. I'm a UN Young Leader for the SDGs, and I'm Gen Z. And I think that this is very important because it informs a lot of my own research and also helps me understand the system both from the outside, but actually from someone who's living right in the middle of it all, like most of us who's watching this today. So I wanted to start with a statement that sort of puts us in the same page, which is that AI is transforming how governments operates. However, what it delivers depends entirely on how we govern it, but actually, and most importantly, through my research, I have found who's behind it. And I want you to keep that in mind for the next slides. When we talk about AI in public administration today, we see this sort of shift happening as AI becomes infrastructure, especially public infrastructure, which is actually a good thing. That it becomes public infrastructure, because then it starts being governed by public scrutiny, which is necessary when it comes to public governance, because AI is deciding who gets access to government benefits, how risks are assessed, how public resource is allocated. It can for sure, as we just heard, and I'm sure we'll continue hearing, bring so many benefits when it comes to public governance. It can speed up processes, it can extend reach, it can minimize cost. But of course, it's not neutral. It carries the assumptions and power dynamics of those who design it. And of course, that's a shift that public institutions are starting to grasp, because and here I put these images to help us sort of understand how this shift is so complex. Because before, public infrastructure used to be something very tangible. Public schools, bus stops, the metro, something that we can see and hear and touch. Right now, when it comes to AI systems, it's something that is becoming much more intangible. It's something that we can see from the outside, but we cannot touch a code. We cannot touch an AI decision. So this brings a whole set of challenges and opportunities as we've just heard. But I wanted to try to bring some examples of what the public sector is doing right, how they get AI right. And here I brought some examples that I thought were quite interesting, which I won't be sharing a lot of details about, but it just helps us understand what can be done. So Canada has been doing a great work applying gender-based analysis to their digital systems, especially AI-based systems. Colombia has been experimenting, especially on a local level, with participatory design for local AI systems. So we see this localization of AI governance. Kenya has been using open source AI to extend access of government benefits to rural areas. And on a more international level, the UNESCO has been doing a great work, especially through their Women for Ethical AI initiative, on creating frameworks that use feminism and gender equality to shape AI work. These initiatives, they are deliberate, they are choices, governance choices that are justice oriented, but they demand political will. But of course, they're still fragile. They depend on leadership, funding, and the will to confront sort of entrenched power. And I say that because, as we have seen in recent news, if whoever is interested in this topic and has been checking local or international news lately, we have sort of come to understand how AI governance has become a battlefield. Technology is evolving fast, but the real challenge is ensuring that it is embedded in democratic, accountable systems, not just deployed because it's available. And here we can see so many headlines on the public sector, governments on a local or national level, clashing with big tech, with AI companies, and sort of trying to represent citizens' interests, where, of course, there is a huge lobbying also from big tech to implement more lax AI laws and privacy laws that would allow for greater profit. So this doesn't come, of course, without harms for the public. We have seen unfortunately, so many adoptions of public sector AI that have failed. And here I also brought some examples. In Brazil, we've seen risk scoring penalizing single mothers. In the EU, we have seen biometric testing used on migrants before they speak to a human. So unfortunately, these examples, which happen all over the world at this point, they also create an issue when it comes to building trust. And this is building trust with the wider public, but especially with young people. And it's not a surprise that these AI systems have been acting this way, because they reflect the same worldview of the people building them, who designs the size. And as we can see in these main AI governance fora, who's designing it is basically from the same demographic, is from the same probably cultural and social background. And whenever there is an attempt to include women, youth, marginalized communities, we sometimes feel that that's performative, because adding one woman into your full male team might not bring this decision-making power that we would like to envision. And young people feel that. We are not AI utopians. We are actually, many of us are addicted and exhausted. We're skeptical of AI as young people not because we don't understand it. Actually, it's the total opposite. Is because we do. We've grown up inside algorithmic systems. We've seen how they shape behavior, creativity, even our attention spans. And this obviously creates a sort of impact in the way that we can feel the world. I wanted to play a video. I am not sure if you're gonna hear it. Let me see here. Share sounds. Maybe lower a little bit your sounds, because it might come up as a little bit loud.
the anti-technology revolution.
Hey, why don't you use AI more often? Well, isn't it destroying the environment? Uh-huh. Isn't it making us dumber? Uh-huh. And wasn't it made by stealing from countless writers and artists? Uh-huh. And isn't it sending some people into psychosis? Uh-huh. And isn't it taking people's jobs? Uh-huh. And isn't it already a tool of environmental racism? Uh-huh. And isn't it becoming so realistic that it's messing with our fabric of reality? Uh-huh. Then no, I think I'm good.
Well, you should probably just embrace the new technology.
I'm going to de-influence you from using Gen AI.
How much I hate artificial intelligence or AI.
Every business, how can we leverage AI to... I don't want to hear anything more about Sam Altman, about ChatGPT, about how this company or that company is using AI. I don't care. It's not improving my life. Okay?
I swear to God, if I defending AI, I'm gonna...
So that was quite funny. As someone who's using TikTok and understands the whole AI subculture on TikTok, I think that this helps us understand how a lot of young people actually feel about AI, which is very different from what we hear in international conferences, and just helps us bring a little bit more awareness on that. And that, for me, is not surprising because the personal is institutional. The harms of AI are not accidental, they're built into the design choices. And young people, they see it, they feel it. They have had their content shadow banned. They may have had their welfare denied by AI systems. So all of this shapes their own perception of AI. And of course, the solution is pretty much in the problem itself. At Equilabs, which is the youth-led digital rights lab that I founded, we see youth innovation as governance. We've helped governments map their AI systems. We've built intersectional impact assessments that center the most marginalized. We've developed frameworks that examine not only technical performance, but the way that AI reinforces or reduces inequality. And this is only possible because we are young, because we come from a generation that is deep in the trenches when it comes to AI manipulation, when it comes to our own attention spans decreasing because we have become addicted to ChatGPT, or because we cannot work without AI anymore. And I think that this is something that is so important for institutions to understand, that if they want to build actually trustworthy AI systems, they need to have youth's input to understand how actually a huge group in society is being impacted by it. And of course, this has had a huge success. We have sent our inputs to the UN, to CSW. We've spoken at the UN Climate Week. We have been reclaiming artificial intelligence, and we even met with the Brazil vice president. So what do young people want from AI? And I will close my intervention with that. We launched a few months ago a manifesto, a youth manifesto for AI justice, where we heard over 300 young people across regions. And what we understood is that young people want youth-led AI. They want young people building AI for everyone. They want communities to have the power to actually reject AI. They want collective rights built into public systems. And they want more regulation. They want to feel safeguarded by public institutions. Equilabs is not the only institution, the only youth-led organization driving this change. We have so many amazing AI governance youth-led organizations. I put some of them here to show that we're not the future of AI governance, but rather the present. And here is our own framework of how we're going to lead this change, which is by having data for collective liberation, is by institutionalizing privacy by design, redistributing power, overcoming intersectional inequalities, and reclaiming our own futures. So when we say that the system now is this, we also say that we are the system now, and that AI governance is shaping lives today, and young people are not the future of governance. We're the governance now, in labs, in movements, in negotiations. And of course, we can only do this with intergenerational allyship. So I invite everyone to join this conversation with us. Here are some of my contact details and Equilabs as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Luisa, for sharing your perspective and for also sharing, such a thought-provoking perspective on future of AI-powered public institutions, and also sharing youth-led public sector AI governance. So this concludes our presentation from our speakers. So we'll have interactive discussions until 45 to 45 Korea time. So we'll ask question to our speakers. I also ask all the participants to post your questions on the chat. We have one question from the chat. So could you please share what projects or initiatives using AI are currently underway to address climate change and protect natural resources in areas like Kabul, Afghanistan? And additionally, how can young environmental activists be empowered to contribute more effectively in this field? Ms. Luisa, if you can respond to this question.
I think this is a very interesting yet very challenging question because what we know as of today is that AI consumes an incredible amount of water and natural resources. So we actually see a lot of climate activists that protest and advocate against the use of AI because it consumes so much natural resources. Of course, I think that then we have to move towards different types of AI systems that are perhaps more localized, that don't use data from a huge main data center, which is what consumes so much energy. We are working towards more localized AI systems that use local compute and local data access to use less power. But as of today, I think that the best way to advocate as an environmental activist for AI is by advocating for a lower use of AI, especially in areas that suffer from drought, that don't have access to a lot of natural resources, and also look for data center projects in your own area and see how companies are actually safeguarding the environment when they are implementing these systems. And go talk to your local legislators, local or national government on what they have been doing to actually protect the people that live in these areas from suffering the negative impacts. Of course, there are also great initiatives that are using AI for environmental progress. But I think that right now, as a young person, in my opinion, the best way to do it is to understand what kind of laws are in place to prevent overusage and overexploitation.
Thank you, Luisa. I think Juno would like to respond to this question as well. Juno, you have the floor.
Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, I think Lisa gave a really good answer, but since she gave the ethical or the moral part of the answer, I want to give you a technical answer to your question. So, satellite images are being very helpful in analyzing not droughts exactly, but there are many cases of using satellite images. For example, I know that Cambodia use satellite images to detect which wells are healthy. Wells meaning, the water ponds where you can drink from. And also I have, as far as I know, United States also is using AI technologies together with GIS satellite images to detect wildfire and prevent wildfire from happening. So those can be examples of methodologies to help you to detect droughts and help you prevent it. I don't know if I answered to your question, but that's my input.
Thank you, Juno. So another question, because we don't have another question from the chat. So I would like to pose this question to both Luisa and Juno. Can you please share any example, where youth-led AI initiatives have directly influenced public policy or improve, public service delivery? Yeah, maybe Luisa can go ahead and then Juno will follow. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. I can cite the example of an organization that I personally really like. It's called Youth for Privacy. And what they have been doing is that they have been merging cybersecurity education with privacy and AI governance. So they have been teaching young people how to advocate for ethical AI. And that includes fellowships, courses, programs. And actually, and I like this example because it takes away sort of like the idea that we have that only computer scientists can advocate for ethical AI, because actually for them, anyone can advocate for ethical AI from their own perspective. So Youth for Privacy, definitely check their work, especially on how to become an AI ethics advocate if you don't come from a computer sciences background.
Thank you, Luisa. Juno, you have the floor.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Praveen. I think there are so many initiatives, especially during this recent years, especially for example, one of the example can be the AI law created by the European Union, which basically intends to control AI based on risk. But I think the most impactful or the most the what we can policy that we can feel it was during the pandemic, because there were so many initiatives using AI to prevent infection and to prevent people from spreading COVID. So I think, and the cases that I mentioned in my presentation, including the one in Spain and also in Togo, there was an initiative called the Nobici, which were basically trying to analyze where was the most impacted area or the more needed area to disperse funds to help people in need using AI. So there's lots of policy that has been utilizing AI to for the benefit of the population.
Thank you, Juno. There's another one question from Syed Ashraf Saidi in the chat box, so I will read it to you. How can we achieve sustainable development in developing countries, especially those facing severe challenges such as war, extremism, political instability, restriction, and gender, ethnic and religious discrimination, which are among the most significant factors preventing these countries from achieving development? More specifically, these issues make it impossible for us to attain sustainable development and for the UN's SDGs to be realized. So the follow-up question also here, in countries like Afghanistan, for example, the Taliban do not allow women the right or permission to access education, and schools and universities are closed to women and girls. This directly affects multiple SDGs. For instance, it had already increased the illiteracy rate among women and children and will cause a significant rise in the future. It has also led to poverty and unemployment as women are restricted from working outside the home. And according to the UN report in 2025, more than half of Afghanistan population is living in poverty and hunger. Moreover, the quality of education is deteriorating and extremism is promoted in universities where countries only boys and men are allowed to study. So, Juno, would you able to respond to Syed Ashraf Said's question, like how can we achieve sustainable development in developing countries, especially those facing several challenges?
Yes, sure. Yeah, honestly, I think it's a very complex question, and I think that's basically what the whole UN is trying to do. So, I don't have any specific answers to it, and yeah, I wish we as UN staff we would have an answer. You know, we would work it right away to accomplish it. But honestly, there is no simple answer to this question. But what I can say, and in the context of our forum today, what I can say is that it has been acknowledged by the UN and many countries, member countries from the UN, that maybe AI technologies can be helpful in overcoming some of these challenges that has. Especially, it has been many reports stating that AI can support overcoming and achieving the SDG. Mr. Han also mentioned during his opening remarks that we are very far away of achieving SDG. We are only achieving around 18%. But yeah, that's why we're having this discussion today, where we're trying to I mean, I know there are many challenges, as I mentioned in my presentation. AI can be used for the bad, and we're certain of it. But we're trying to, with venues like this, with forums like this, try to make the best use of it and try to induce people to take advantage of the good part of it. So I think yeah, sorry for not having an answer, but I think that's why we need this venue and this kind of forums.
Thank you, Juno. Luisa, can you please shed light on this one? Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. I think that especially as a young activist who has been in UN spaces for a few years already, with activists from all over the world, including from Afghanistan, I think that one of your strongest tools is your voice. And I understand when you're living under repression, your voice can be very dangerous for yourself. So I think that that's why it's important to connect with other activists who have done this work previously or who are doing this work right now and learn from their ways. And I think that this is going to be different from for everyone. It depends on where you come from, what's your own personal reality. At the UN, I have seen many beautiful Afghanistan young leaders who had to flee Afghanistan in order to speak up. I can recommend one organization called AYAPO, Afghan Youth Association for Peace, if I'm not mistaken, led by Hila. And I know many other Afghans. I mean, it's not the point here. I think the point is really about using your voice in a way that feel strategic, and that might be through different means depending on where you come from. But don't underestimate that power. And in my opinion, that's what's going to lead the SDGs forward as well. It's really by having everyone in the conversation and claiming your own power and your own advocacy in these spaces.
Thank you, Luisa. So we have another question from LYC. These are the groups. So they are asking, do you think that we as a generation and future generation going forward should aim to regulate AI through government, or should we prioritize the development and improvement of AI through private sector-led innovation? Or could this go hand in hand somehow? The floor is open. Yeah, anyone can respond. Juno, would you like to respond first?
Sure. Yeah, what was the question? I don't, I was trying to look for the question, but I couldn't see it.
Yeah, it's so do you think that we as a generation and future generation going forward should aim to regulate AI through government, or should we prioritize the development and improvement of AI through private sector-led innovation? Or could this go hand in hand somehow?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I won't say hand in hand like 50-50, but absolutely. Those are the things that we're trying to look at it. And you can even check the e-government survey that I mentioned during my presentation in 2024. And we mentioned specific mechanisms that can try to achieve that, for example, using sandboxes. So sandboxes basically allow you to have a freedom of testing and trying to see if what you're doing, it's first of all, it's being useful, and second, if it doesn't have a negative impact on somewhere else. So after testing on sandboxes, you can scale up to, I don't know, to a regional level, maybe a national level, and then try to apply it later on in bigger scale. So sandboxes are a good system to try to develop the AI utility, but at the same time control and keep it contained in a safe environment in case it has negative impacts on some aspect.
Thank you, Juno. Luisa?
Yeah, I think, well, in my opinion, I think it's quite hard to let AI develop freely through private sector-led innovation without government intervention, just because the way that private sector systems work is that they work under the will for profit. So the will for profit is not always the will for safety or security or trustworthiness. So I think that this is something that we have to be extremely aware of when it comes to AI governance, is that whoever is developing these systems, what are their goals? What are their final goals? Because of course they might be developing a program or an initiative, an AI initiative that does something, but why do they want that? I think if the final goal is to profit off of this system, I think especially in these cases, we have to be extremely aware of to what extent are we going to fulfill this profit aim? And I'm not saying that the profit aim is something inherently bad. I'm just saying that it is something that we have to be aware of. And in my opinion, only through capacitating public institutions to actually understand the risks of AI systems and actually good ways to govern it, because I think a lot of public institutions understand the risks, but they just don't know how to govern it. And there are many ways to govern it through I think sandboxes are a good way, through AI standards, through different governance initiatives, through involving civil society. There are so many ways that we can do this. But I think especially as someone from a young generation, I do think that what I see in these spaces is a lack of awareness from younger people that they can have a voice in how AI systems are developed and governed. So definitely use your voice for that as well.
Thank you, Luisa and Juno. So before we wrap up, I would like to give Juno and Luisa to reflect on the sessions, as well as if you like to say something more. So 1 minute each for each of you.
Yeah, should I start?
Sure.
Yeah, thank you everybody for your question and your comments. I'm sorry I was not able to answer to all of the questions, but I just wanted to tell you that like Luisa mentioned, the best way of, we don't have the answer yet. We are still learning as we go. So the best way is to learn from political activists, to learn from diversity groups, to learn from marginalized people, and try to raise their voices. So I encourage you to participate in every chances possible on forums such as this one, to raise your voices and make your voices to be learned, to be heard. And that's how you can guarantee we will develop and use AI for the good. But thank you.
Thank you, Juno. Luisa, you have the floor for the final remarks.
Yeah, just thank you so much, everyone. I think especially myself as a young advocate, as someone who founded a youth-led initiative for AI governance, I think it's just so important to keep learning and keep speaking up. I see that young people are getting more awareness on these topics, but we're still so far away from where we could be. So work together, stay engaged, stay loud. Don't ever think that your voice doesn't matter, because it surely does. And whatever you need, please count on me. Thank you.
Thank you, Luisa and Juno. So thank you for your questions and reflection from our speakers. So this exchanges, truly highlight that the future of AI in public governance is not just a technical matter. Actually, it is a societal and generational one. So as we have seen, AI can be powerful to strengthen public institutions and achieve the SDGs. But it requires also responsible governance, inclusivity, and active participation of young people like you. I would like to thank our both speaker, Mr. Juno Lee and Ms. Luisa, for their insightful contribution and all participation for your engagement. Let's carry this discussion forward as we explore more ways to make AI work for people and the planet in the sessions ahead. So I give back the floor to my colleague Sally. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabin, for excellently moderating session 1. And also heartfelt thanks to Mr. Junho Lee and Ms. Luisa Machado for insightful presentations on AI for strengthening public institutions and achieving SDGs. I know Junho is joining us very late at night, and I know that Luisa is joining us super early in the morning. Now we move into the heart of our forum, Ideas for Change contest, presentation from the shortlisted teams. To moderate this session, I would like to invite Ms. Carol Grace Salvation. She is the Associate Networking and Outreach Expert at UNPOG, DPIDG, UNDESA. Carrie, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Shelley. Hello, everybody. How are we all today? Good? All right, I see a thumbs up from a couple of audiences, and I believe that everyone is actually excited for this session. So without further ado, let's start with calling out the first team, Team SDG Girls, to show us their project. SDG girls, the floor is yours.
Hello. Please give us a while to share our screen. All right, is our screen visible? Thank you very much. Let us begin. All right, good afternoon. We are Team SDG Girls, Hwarim Yu, Seber Park, and Yunjo Hong. Before we begin, we would like to thank everyone for allowing us the honor of being invited here to speak at this prestigious event. Today, we're excited to introduce our project, VoiceBridge Nepal, which is an AI-powered solution designed to ensure equitable access to critical disaster information for linguistically marginalized communities. We believe our idea is simple yet powerful to break language barriers that prevent life-saving information from reaching vulnerable populations. So without further ado, we would like to begin to introduce our project. Before we dive deeper into our model, let us explain why VoiceBridge is necessary. In many disaster-prone regions that frequently experience natural disasters, a significant portion of the population speaks languages different from the country's standard languages as their mother tongue. For example, in Nepal's central western mountain regions like Lamjung and Gorkha, disasters such as landslides, floods, and earthquakes strike frequently. However, most official alerts are only issued in Nepali. This poses a serious challenge for many indigenous communities. For instance, in Lamjung district alone, 29.9% speaks Kurung and 6.6% speak Tamang as their first language. To make matters worse, low smartphone usage during disasters due to poor internet access limits the reach of digital alerts. As a result, crucial warnings often fail to reach those who need them the most. This issue not only costs lives, but also hinders the efforts to meet SDG 16.10, which guarantees public access to information. To address this issue, we developed VoiceBridge Nepal. VoiceBridge is an AI-powered multilingual voice translation tool that converts official disaster alerts into indigenous languages like Tamang, Gurung, and Magar. It also delivers these alerts in real time using both voice-to-voice and voice-to-text formats. And finally, it integrates with local radio stations, which is the most trusted communication channel in rural Nepal, allowing even those without smartphones or internet access to receive clear and understandable alerts. Our goal is not only to save lives, but also to empower indigenous communities by preserving and using their languages. Now we will explain how VoiceBridge functions. First, an official alert in Nepali is captured, either as text or speech. Then our AI translation engine, trained on disaster-related terms in indigenous language data, translates it instantly into the target language. Finally, a text-to-speech model reads the alert out loud, and the message is broadcast through local radio stations in multiple languages simultaneously. The entire process happens in real time, ensuring zero delay during emergencies.
This is a pipeline of what our model looks like. It consists of two chunks of models, where one translates and the other receives the tokenized text data and turns it into speech. The translation model will mainly be based on either RNNs with the attention method, which handles tokenized data in serial structure, or word-to-vec transformer models, which deal with the data in parallel structure. The latter model is what most modern LLMs like ChatGPT and Gemini are based on today. The point is that both models show great performance, especially in processing large-sized text, summarizing and extracting important features, and also in translation. The key is that they can all happen in real time, putting out quicker results compared to other NLP methods. To give a sneak peek of how our model works, we made a prototype of our translator model. Our prototype will capture audio from a new speech and tokenize it into text. The tokenized text data will then be translated into whatever desired language one selects. Finally, the translated results will be shown on screen so that the user can follow up while listening to the news. Additionally, for those who are in a condition where one cannot read the text just by pressing a button, our model will read aloud the translated results for the user. Now, we'd like to show everyone a quick prototype of how VoiceBridge will work in action. Our prototype will translate English into Korean text.
It comes as the Palestinian Health Ministry says more than 150 people.
Here's a list of how VoiceBridge will impact its target communities. In the short term, we aim to serve over 50,000 indigenous language speakers in pilot regions, reducing disaster response times by up to 40%. In the long term, we envision scaling this solution nationwide in Nepal, influencing national policy on multilingual emergency communication, and furthermore establishing a global model for other disaster-prone, linguistically diverse regions. Such impacts contribute to global efforts towards multiple Sustainable Development Goals. VoiceBridge directly advances SDG 16 Target 10 by ensuring public access to information and protecting fundamental freedoms, making certain that minority language speakers receive equal access to disaster-related alerts. It also helps achieve SDG 11 Target 5 by reducing the adverse effects of natural disasters, and SDG 11 Target B by aligning with the Sendai framework through the expansion of access to multi-hazard early warning systems and disaster risk information. To ensure the most important part, sustainability, we plan to first partner with local radio stations, NGOs, and community leaders to pilot VoiceBridge. Secondly, we plan to train local youth in managing translations and system monitoring. Thirdly, we will utilize solar-powered offline devices in schools and community centers to ensure continuity even during power outages. And finally, we will collaborate with national agencies and international donors to expand coverage and add new language modules over time. Our project is not just about technology, but it's also about saving lives, protecting cultural heritage, and building trust between communities and public institutions. VoiceBridge transforms disaster communication from a one-size-fits-all system into an inclusive, human-centered AI solution that ensures no one is left behind. With your support, VoiceBridge can bridge the communication gap and bring life-saving information to every corner of Nepal and to many more countries as VoiceBridge India, VoiceBridge Indonesia, VoiceBridge Myanmar, VoiceBridge Philippines, or even VoiceBridge Nigeria. We will now end our presentation. Thank you everyone for your time.
Thank you very much, SDG girls. It's very interesting to learn that the project that you proposed for this year's contest connects with the issue that we have on climate. And it also aims to cover not only those who have access to the information, but at the same time in the indigenous area in which a lot of the communities out there do not really have the access as you may have just proposed. So thank you very much on that. We hope that either way you may be able to make this project happen. So good luck. Next, I'd like to call upon the second team, Project Veritas, to share with us their project. Team Project Veritas, the floor is yours.
Hello, can you all see my screen clearly? Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is an honor to present today on behalf of Project Veritas. We would like to ask you one question. What is the biggest enemy to integrity? A greedy entrepreneur? Corrupt politicians? The biggest enemy lies within the system itself. Bidding is the heart of problem. According to the World Bank, the estimated minimum loss due to bidding corruption is $8.8 trillion. Furthermore, bidding corruption is expanding to cryptocurrency and virtual assets, influencing both traditional and non-traditional assets. We analyzed three main problems. First, after the auction, subcontract transfers to a third party with no actual execution capacity result in a loss of responsibility by the contracted party, leading to budget waste and a decline in public trust. This risk is amplified by OECD findings that over half of all bribes are driven by public procurement, with enforcement delays widening the window for such misconduct to persist. Second, broker intervention is a significant problem. Broker intervention most frequently occurs during the contract implementation and inspection stage, which is after the selection. Broker intervention undermines fair competition, transparency, and quality, leading to waste and unreliable subcontracting. The third problem comes from the post-mortem and manual-based bidding audit system. It reflects a reactive approach, diagnosing issues only after they've surfaced. With those problems at hand, a fair and new approach to bidding is needed. Artificial intelligence is key for it.
Thereby, we would like to present our solution, Code of Integrity. Unlike traditional post-audit approaches, our system focuses on real-time and preemptive detection of corruption risks in public procurement and subcontracting. From prevention to monitoring, the system covers the whole step of bidding. Let me introduce each functions individually. Our first feature is intelligent risk assessment. We aim to proactively spot risks in subcontracting bids using a data-driven insights, addressing vulnerabilities before fraud can occur. This involves 3 steps. First, integrating structured and unstructured data. Second, automating corruption risk measurement. And third, flagging BS tenders or proposals. We would like to process the procurement data with NLP and anomaly detection to flag risk transparently, then deploy the system on a scalable cloud infrastructure. This approach shifts the focus from reactive investigations to proactive prevention. Our second key element is proactive fraud and collusion detection. Our goal is to detect collusion and fraudulent subcontracting early, stopping them before they disrupt the competition or waste the public resources. It has 2 main features in it. First, detecting a collusion and bid rigging, and second, uncovering the subcontracting fraud by verifying execution capacity. Suspicious cases would get the dynamic risk scores to help auditors prioritize, with the system trained on the verified and synthetic data, and integrated into a real-time dashboard for instant alert and action. With this setup, we can intercept fraudulent bidding activities at the earliest possible stage, enabling auditors to intervene before the contracts move forward. Last but not least, our third focus area is actionable insights and intervention. Our purpose is to give auditors a clear, evidence-based insights for immediate action, bridging detection and enforcement. We would like to provide 2 core capabilities here. First, real-time corruption alerts, and second, shop-based explainable insights with supporting evidence. We would like to use explainable AI to justify each flagged case, giving auditors a user-friendly dashboard with risk scores, anomalies, and evidence, and also plus training and feedback loops to keep the system reliable itself. With this, we may move from just flagging risk to enabling timely, well-informed interventions, ensuring the auditors to act when it matters the most. To explain the development methodology as a whole, we've chosen a full-stack AI ecosystem covering a data ingestion, storage, processing, machine learning, deployment, and explainability. In terms of development paces, it's a 5-step pipeline. This ensures we could move from a raw data to an operational, transparent AI system in a structured way.
Please refer to the outline budget for further development plans. Sustainability is the heart of our project. We aim to make this plan a replicable tool. We've designed a collaborative framework for knowledge sharing and capacity building. To enhance reliability, we'll refine XAI and risk scoring with open source. Alignment with global standards is also crucial, adhering to AI ethics like ISO IEC 42001. In the short term, our system will boost accuracy, efficiency, and proactivity through advanced anomaly detection, freeing auditors from repetitive work and flagging risks before they escalate. In the long term, it will restore trust in the system, reduce financial waste, and strengthen ethical governance, making adopting countries gain leadership. Our project also deeply aligned with SDG 16 and 17. AI monitoring effectively detects corruption and promotes fairer competition by removing brokers' control. Updates to XAI and risk scoring maintain reliability and precision in tech. In summary, our system embodies fairness, adaptation, and accountability. With SDGs, the system addresses root issues of corruption. However, we acknowledge the limitations in technical infrastructure, compliance, and usability. We anticipate overcoming these through strategic partnerships, investments, cross-border frameworks, and end-user training with structured feedback. As the UN Secretary General noted, corruption is universal. We believe that corruption cannot beat technology, but with integrity, technology can beat corruption. We named our project Code of Integrity to highlight a system based on ethical principles and transparency. Project Veritas, Truth in Latin, shows the commitment to expose corruption and promote clarity. Together, they capture our vision, using AI to detect, prevent, and eliminate corruption while restoring public trust and fairness. Join us in building a future where governance is defined by trust, integrity, and transparency. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Project Veritas, for a very interesting proposal. I think the future that we have seeing two teams showing their presentation so far has become very interesting because for this group, they are now looking into the internal. Earlier, we had looking at the external with the climate, and then for this group, they're looking into the internal system on how we can improve it using technology and AI. Thank you very much. You're making this future somehow very interesting. Next team, I would like to call upon Team LYC to show us your project as well. The floor is yours, Team LYC.
Hello. 1 second, we'll share our screen. Oh wait, no, audio. Hold on. I'll mute myself. Can you hear us? Okay, yeah, they can hear us. Okay. So welcome to our presentation. Our team name is Lucas Yuki Choi. I'm Lucas, I'm from Argentina.
I'm Yuki, I'm from Japan. I'm Choi from Korea.
Apologies for the green screen difficulties. Today, we're gonna introduce you guys to our project, Count Year One. So first, we're gonna briefly go over the problem statement, then over proposed solution, Count Year One, its purpose, a few key features, alignment with SDGs, expected impact, sustainability, and then a brief conclusion. So first, I'll hand it over to Roy to deal with the problem statement.
So after electing President Park Geun-hye in 2012, despite of her extremely ambitious plan and promises, she failed people to do so and used those funds, almost 64 million US dollars, to support her friend's daughter's horse riding. This hilarious corruption might be happening right now, even in your country. This is a crucial problem associated with well-functioning democracy. You can further explore about it.
We cannot hear anything. Can you please share your sound?
So now the proposed solution, Troy will go into depth.
As an unparalleled, complete, open, simple, and most importantly, democratic solution for this great political threat now our republics are facing, here I most confidently present the Shanky diagram powered and composed by AI and fully independent of the government's excuses. This radically intuitive and transparent initiative will be engaged to help taxpayers interactive comprehension of government spending.
So also, essentially, Count Year One was influenced heavily by our worldview. Essentially, in the past few decades, there's been a rise of authoritarianism, and one of the main justification points that pro-authoritarian leaders use is that in order for a democracy to function effectively and make correct decisions, you need a population that is extremely educated in things like economics and law. And that is extremely bad when you consider that one of the most important parts of the modern economy is specialization. The engineer, he studies engineering. The lawyer, he'll study law. But we don't need everybody in the population to have an extremely good understanding of economics, right? But in order to make good decisions, you would, in theory, need your democracy to have a voter base that's actually well informed. That's why the authoritarians will tell you, okay, then you shouldn't have democracy in the first place. You should have the group of economists to deal with the economy. What Count Year One does is it attacks this because it says, it basically flips the problem on its head. The problem isn't that voters need to spend too much time learning information in order to make well-informed decisions. Rather, the problem is that there's a lack of easy to access and easy to understand information, particularly for younger voters. So what Count Year One essentially does is it takes these government spreadsheets, which are extremely hard to interpret and access, and you essentially need a PhD in economics to understand. It makes it accessible to the average voter, hence making democracy well-informed and thus more effective, especially with youth voters who are more tech-savvy and engaged with technology. So a few key features, we'll explore it in the video actually. So here there's a very rough prototype. It obviously wouldn't look like this, but just so you get an idea. So there'd probably be a feature, a change date feature, so you can see how funds are allocated in the government, how tax dollars are allocated, not just in the present day, but maybe in another government a few years ago. Also at the very bottom, you'll see compare data over time, so you can very simply compare and contrast the data from now and in the past, so you can see how the economy and how government intervention in the economy has evolved over time. Then there's also select tax dollar pathway. So essentially what this feature tries to say, it combats corruption. So essentially you can see, okay, are the healthcare taxes going to healthcare, or are the education taxes actually going to education? And that's to combat corruption. Create scenarios, so you can see hypothetical scenarios. And that's very important for democracy, because then you can actually see, okay, say that we want to invest 100 million more won into healthcare. Where would we get that money from? Where would it be invested? How would that work, etc. There would also be help and tutorial and visual settings features to make it more accessible also to older people or less tech savvy people. alignment with SDGs.
Okay, so regarding SDGs, through our Sankey diagram, we envision to provide an accurate and accessible tool that all citizens can have access to and see where the government gets the budget and where they're going to use the budget for. And this aligns with the SDG goal 16, which states effective, accountable, and transparent institutions at all levels. And the aspects that our Sankey diagram aligns with this SDG is that it's accessible to all. You just need an internet connection and a phone to access the Sankey diagram. And also it's color coded, meaning everyone can see it clearly. And what this means is that it empowers citizens, right? Because now they can make an informed decision. Because now without this Sankey diagram, they have no idea what the government used a budget for. But with the Sankey diagram, they can actually make an informed decision based on the Sankey diagram.
Expected impact, briefly. Yeah, there's no time. So yeah, we're a bit over time. We're sorry. But thank you for listening. This has been our presentation. This has been Lucas, Yuki, and Troy.
Thank you very much, Team LYC. It's interesting to see as well that your project proposal aims for transparent governance, one issue that has been a big topic in the past few years or decades, because a lot of people now are seeking for transparency from the government. And through this project, it also looks into rebuilding the trust within the system. So hopefully, like I have mentioned in the first two teams, hopefully your project can be implemented. I noticed that you already have the website, so just keep on going on that one. Thank you. Moving forward, let's go to the fourth team, Team Civic Lens. Are we all ready?
Yes, we're ready. Just give us
All
a
right.
moment to share a screen.
Floor is
Thanks.
yours.
We're good to go. So, good morning, everyone. I want you to picture this with me for just a moment. You wake up on election day feeling hopeful because today your voice matters. But as you head to the polling station, your phone lights up. Don't use the pens. The ink is erasable. Another pink. Your favorite candidate has been just arrested. It's rigged. In minutes, the atmosphere changes. People hesitate. Some walk away. Chaos. Just a few messages here and there, traveling faster than the truth. This is not fiction. In Tunisia's 2019 election, rumors like this spread across WhatsApp and Facebook. Erasable pens, arrests, rigged results. People argued, hesitated, and many left unsure if their vote would count. The damage wasn't visible, but it was so real. And thus trust quietly cracked. And this is not just a Tunisian story. Across the world, misinformation, especially from official looking sources, influences decisions, endangers safety, and erodes democracy itself. People are already anxious during pandemics, protests, emergency times. And unfortunately, rumors outrun facts. Official messages are too complex to understand. Marginalized communities get left behind, and trust in institutions slowly fades. And this is where Civic Lens comes in.
It's an AI-powered news verification tool built by youth and for everyone. Now imagine you open your phone and see a post from a public official announcing new jobs program. It sounds exciting, right? But you're wondering, is this really for everyone? When does it start? What's the catch? The second that message appears online, our system is already there, watching. It's connected to official channels, public statements, and trending posts in real time. Within moments, AI starts analyzing the text. If there's any bias, missing details, or any vague promises like available for all, but only specific group is eligible, then it flags it instantly and gives it a transparency score. And here's the important part. We don't only do fact checking, we actually translate the information into something you can understand in your own language without any jargon. It's also a community-driven platform as we also allow fact-checking youth networks to be a part of the process. And finally, the platform alerts people instantly when dangerous rumors start to spread. At its core, Civic Lens is not just a fact-checker. It's a shield against chaos, a translator for everyone, and a guide to the truth. Now, how it works. Our AI trained models labels every news, post messages with a color-coded score with an instant clarity breaking down bias based on the original source.
And for citizens who just wanted quick, clear answers, we got you our Civic Bot, who will be your personal truth assistant. You just need to paste the link and ask if a message is true. And you will also get the opportunity to get a simple explanation with no legal jargon, no political spin. And I feel like this is especially powerful for anyone who struggles with complex political language just like me. And it's available for everyone and for on all languages of our market. And when it comes to our map, you can open the app anywhere in the world, and through the map, you will see local alerts. First, you will get verified updates from trusted journalists and NGOs. You will get to see all the emergencies that are just near you. And also a misinformation hit maps showing where false news is spreading. For institutions, this is really gold because it's a live situational awareness map that lets them respond faster and smarter.
Now, with our mobile app that I developed, we can find an AI-powered fact check, transparency score, community feedback, and an easy explanation. Civic Lens is built for everyone, especially those who often get left out of the conversation. For the elderly and non-tech users, we make it simple with SMS notification. For NEET youth and everyday citizen, our chatbot breaks down official communication into plain, easy-to-understand language. For migrant communities, we provide multilingual support. No one is excluded because of language barrier. And for people with disabilities, we offer audio summaries. Civic Lens is really about making sure the truth is accessible, understandable, and for every single person.
And coming to our impact, at its core, Civic Lens is about building trust, stability, and empowerment, which is perfectly aligned with the SDG 16. We have all seen how panic, doubt, and rumor can paralyze entire communities, right? And with us, this completely changes because we actually reduce panic and rumor-driven harm during crisis by flagging misleading information in real time. And we also actually rebuild citizen confidence in institutions by ensuring that all official communication is always verified, clear, and transparent. And for our secret sauce and what truly makes Civic Lens different is not just the technology, it's the people behind it, and we are special. This is a platform that is built by youth, the ones most fluent in digital culture are leading the work. And they're not just being participants, they're designing, moderating, and shaping the tool. We catch rumors in real time, even after they've gone viral. And we speak in a way that people understand, and that's important. Civic Lens is a youth community powered platform, and our partner youth fact checkers across all the MENA region lead the reviews in their own communities. And most importantly, it's a MENA's first of its kind, as there are no any other similar platforms across the region.
Now, as for our potential partners, we are working on building partnership with youth fact-checking networks from all across MENA region. As you see here, we're trying to make different potential partners. And look into our market, we see a great opportunity in the MENA region with a total market of 500 million people. And for now, we are only targeting around 15 million. Now, compared to other solutions, Civic Lens stand out because we don't just detect misinformation. We analyze government communication, scores clarity and bias with our Civic Lens system, and offers an AI-powered chatbot that explains policies in plain language. As for our timeline, we are already done with prototype phase and we have developed our platform, and let me walk you through it a little bit. So this is Civic Lens, where you can have an online chatbot with comprehensive analysis, quick check, bias detection, and where you can type and ask questions, type links, ask anything you want, and you will get clarification in real time. And with our latest news, you can get the nearest news with credibility scores. By opening the map, we can find the MENA region updates or the updates near you, alerts, notifications of any news and reports. And of course, you can even make reports. If you find the news, find something interesting, you can report it, add a link, add a source, add whatever you like. All analyze it with our dashboard in real time.
And this is, if you're wondering, this is our team. So that's me. I'm Hamid, everything related to strategy, business, and operations. There's my colleague, Ishraq, who's responsible for business analysis and product prototyping. And then we have our IT gig, who developed the platform and the mobile app, Misbah. And kudos
Hello.
to everyone for their work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you so much. So, and we'd be more than happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you very much, Team Civic Lens. It's interesting how your project is also trying to show us that information can be shielded against from bias or false information, essentially. Looking forward to responding for your team to respond to the questions that will come later on. Okay, finally, last team, but also important part to complete the contest, team OCR.coop. Are we ready?
Hi, is this screen visible?
You can't see your, all right,
Yes.
there it is. Thank you.
I think we're ready to go. Okay. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Team OCR Co-op, and today we're going to introduce Viz AI, an artificial intelligence that assists the visa application processes for foreign residents in Korea. So today, this is the scope of our contents, the problem we're willing to address, the methodology of Viz AI, and its expected impacts. So then let's start with the challenges we're facing nowadays. So over the past decades, Korea has experienced a steady increase in immigration, and this trend has accelerated in recent years. According to the OECD International Migration Outlook report, Korea recorded one of the highest rates of foreign residents with the growth rate at 50.9% in 2024. From January to May 2025 alone, short-term visitors to Korea rose by 23.4 percentage points compared to the same period the last year. The government is also willing to increase the acceptance of people coming to Korea by deciding to increase the E9 application to more industries such as mining and fishery. So in short, we can see an increase in both supply and demand in South Korean immigration. But Actually, this growth comes with persistent challenges. The one major issue is language barriers, particularly when dealing with administrative processes with its complicated jargon. This problem looms larger with the discrepancy of language proficiency based on the visa statuses that the individuals bear. Another issue is administrative complexity. Korea has around 37 main types of visas and over 300 detailed categories, with each specific requirements and legal terms. Bureaucracies also adopt inconsistent terminologies for immigrants and multicultural families, which makes them navigating the system even harder. Therefore, this challenge requires a more nuanced approach beyond mere translation services. So this is where Viz AI comes in. Viz AI is an AI-powered document layout and OCR solution designed to remove language and administrative barriers for immigrants. The core system uses advanced document analysis to detect, arrange, and extract key information from the documents provided by the users. This is applicable for all foreign residents ranging from students, workers, and also those seeking permanent residence. This system would accordingly encourage the residents to seek visa applications confidently.
So let's look at how the BizAI user interface looks like. The process starts with the document upload screen with the various forms of uploading. And the next screen shows how a user selects their type of visa-related document, ranging from visa grant notices, immigration forms, or other files. After uploading, the system shows a document preview where the user can visually confirm if they've chosen the right file or not. From there, the system processes the document and displays a result dashboard with its evaluation. At the top, the dashboard displays a document analysis summary, which identifies the type of document and gives a confidence score, for example, 98%. And just below, there's a validation status with the AI's categorization/evaluation, the extracted information, which displays the key details pulled from the document, such as name, country, visa type, and etc. And finally, it's paired with a next step guidance section that gives tailored instruction. On the bottom right, we can also see some common mistakes to avoid and supporting documents that the user might need to prepare. Finally, the interface provides an exports and follow option where the user can save their progress, receive email instructions, or download a PDF version. The user process was made mainly so that the user knows exactly what they have, what's missing, and what to do next. From here, we can see that the validation status can be split into 3 workflows. So the first one's ready for submission, action required or needed attention, which are categorized as the AI evaluates. Extracted information is to tell the user and the AI about the transparency of what information the AI is utilizing and how it is utilized. The recommendation panel is split into 2 sections. First, the next step guidance, which tells out details, instructions, and missing information alerts for the user to be noted. And so how does this work? Well, if we take a deeper look in its backend, we can see that the system's engine that powers everything is something called the multilingual optical character recognition, or OCR. Basically, it is to capture both Korean and English text from the document along with its exact position on the page. But it's not just about reading the text, but we also run a document layout analysis using models like Layout LMB3 and Donut, which help detecting visual elements like labels, values, stamps, and tables, and then links it with the spatial and contextual relationship within the document. This means that the system can understand the visa type, and it knows that it's connected to an E9, even if they're separated or in different documents. Once the text and structures are mapped, the backend applies a translation for any Korean-only sections, and a lightweight classifier identifies a document type and matches it with the known template. But before anything, the tool will be sufficiently pre-fed with successful cases of documentation. Therefore, the AI will have the basics to distinguish and recommend following documents.
Next, we'll walk you through the impacts and sustainability of Viz AI and how this helps in the short term and how we plan to expand it in the future. So our solution aligns with the track for AI for efficient public service delivery, and it directly supports two key sustainable development goals. First, SDG 10 by removing language and procedural barriers for immigrants, and also SDG 16 by making public services more transparent and accessible. So in the short term, this AI provides immediate assistance, giving clear explanations for complex legal terms and flagging mistakes before documents are submitted. This reduces rejections, saves times, and also lowers stress for both applicants and administrators. And in the long term, the same technology can adapt to other government services, for example, like healthcare, licensing, employment processes, and other processes. And so that more people can benefit from a faster, easier access to essential public services. So we've designed a clear roadmap for potential future growth. So on the first stage, regular updates will be feeded into the system to keep pace with changes in changing visa policies. And in the second stage, our tool will be expanded into other administrative areas beyond just immigration. And in the third stage, more languages will be added, focusing on those spoken by the underserved migrant communities. And in the last stage, this AI can be directly integrated into government digital portals, making this a seamless part of the official application process. And by following these stages, we can grow this AI from just a niche immigration tool into a nationwide platform for inclusive, efficient public service delivery. And ultimately, our goal is to build this AI to not just merely be another tool, but to build a scalable bridge between public institutions and the citizens. It can empower individuals, improve efficiency, and support a fairer and more accessible public service system that lessens legislative barriers. Thank you, everyone, for your attention.
Thank you very much, Team OCR.Group. Your project is very timely now that we know that the world we are living now is actually globalized, right? So a lot of people come and go in one country to another. And with this project, if applied in other countries as well, will make it easy for those who are not locals of the country. Very, very useful, actually. So that concludes the presentations from all the teams. Before we proceed to the Q&A session, I would like to thank everyone for their wonderful project. What you have shown, the 5 teams, actually showed us, the audience here, that we have really bright young people ahead. And if used wisely, a future can be wonderful. There's still hope, in other words. All right. So now going to the Q&A session, I would like to call on our 3 evaluators to ask each team a question each. And before asking them to ask you the questions, I'd like to call Miss Hyung-suk Song from APCICT to please show yourself, Miss Jisoo Kim from UNODC, and Mr. Junho Lee from DPIDG to please briefly introduce yourselves so that our contestants and audience will know of you. Just brief introduction, please. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Hyung-suk Song from APCICT. As just the moderator mentioned, I'm very glad to hear all of the project, and I'm very delighted to communicate with you through this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Song. Miss Kim, Jisoo Kim, you have the floor.
Thank you so much for having me today. My name is Jisoo Kim. I'm a statistic officer working at United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime. As a part of the team of UNODC Costa Center of Excellence for Statistics on Crime and Criminal Justice in Asia and the Pacific. As you can see from the name of the team that I'm working for, I'm working on crime and criminal justice statistics, especially in the area more like data production and generation. So today's topic is a little bit like not my topic, so that's why I found it very interesting and inspiring. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Miss Kim. Mr. Lee?
Thank you, Carrie. Hello again. My name is Juno. I've been presenting just a couple of minutes ago, so I think it doesn't need further introduction for myself. But I'm associate expert at UNDESA, colleague to our UNPAL colleagues here. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we have met all our wonderful and lovely evaluators online. Teams, are we all ready to answer the questions? A thumbs up, maybe? No? Great. I see thumbs up. All right. So let's go back to Team SDG girls to respond to the questions. Dear evaluators, I'm giving you the floor to ask your questions.
Okay, I have a question to SDG girls. You mentioned about the using radio devices to announce a disaster event. So do you know how many radios, how many households have a radio? The reason why I ask this question is because sometimes in Korea, people propose similar proposal like this. But in Korea, actually at home, I don't have any radio, and people don't listen to radio often. So the idea is very good, but I'm not quite sure if it's feasible. Maybe it's feasible in Nepal if Nepali people listen to radio quite often. So I'd like to understand the situation in Nepal if they listen to radio quite often. Thank you.
Should we answer the question right away? Okay. Thank you for the great question. In the case of Nepal, through multiple news articles, we were able to find out that they have about 82%, 82% of the households have radio stations. And also, compared to Korea, they have much more licensed radio stations, which means that a lot of more households in Nepal actually listen to radios. So we believe that the radio station would be a good source for us to use in order to use this kind of method in Nepal. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. As a following question, how did you analyze the response time will be reduced? How much after this system is introduced?
Because we are trying to use a kind of like real-time kind of implementation, we hope that by using the system that there won't be any delay when the information is being delivered. So we hope that yes, everything will be happening in real time. Thank you.
Next, Junho, do you want to throw in the question?
Sure, yeah. Before asking question, great presentation. I have multiple experiences in my mission of country requesting speech to text type of platform. So props to you all. I just have a technical question. While I was looking at your presentation, I saw that you were using word-to-vec embedding method. And I was wondering why, because word-to-vec, as you may know, is a static embedding method. So in terms of grasping the context and idea, it's better to use transformers such as Electra, Roberta, or all the birds, or like transformer models that has come out after the word-to-vec embedding. So I was wondering, is there a particular reason why you're using word-to-vec, and what would that be? Thank you.
So, we're the point for using the models, we're using either word-to-vec models or RNNs. The reason why we're using the word-to-vec model is because our goal is to put out the results as soon as possible. So our main goal is to make all this happen in real time. So we're not saying that we're going to use Word2Vec only. We're going to use other models such as RNNs with attention method, which helps with the long short-term memory and with translation. I mentioned Word2Vec because of translation process. So I hope this answered your question. Yes.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Lisa?
I also have one question. First of all, thank you so much for your great idea and also presentation. So my questions will be a little bit of the reasoning behind using AI in this specific context, because because I'm lack of knowledge about this kind of situation, but many disaster alerts follow established protocols, like for instance, set instructions on how to act or where to evacuate in certain situations. So I believe there might be more cost-efficient way, like for instance, preparing all the scenario, like multiple scenarios, like a voice recording, or maybe we can prepare some kind of transcriptions, certain situation, and then we can easily deliver. So my question is going to be, could this be achieved without advanced AI for those specific alerts when it comes to natural disasters, which we can also anticipate? So how do you see AI adding further value beyond alert delivery?
The purpose of this of our project Voice Bridge Nepal's model is that in cases of disasters, the government is going to issue their own official alerts. However, since they are only issued in their official languages, in Nepal's case, Nepali, it has limited inclusivity. So people who only speak the minority languages or indigenous languages in these cases have limited access to such alerts. So if we use methods such as or pre-recorded voice recordings or transcripts, um it then it does not exactly serve our purpose, as our purpose is to translate the official alerts as quickly as possible and distribute it to the people so they can also have equal access to the alerts that the government provides.
Okay, maybe I'm gonna explain a little bit more my question. So my question is, so at the local level, each radio station, if they prepare like transcription or voice recording in their marginalized languages that they provide their services or something like that, that I think is going to be more cost efficient rather than having AI advanced model or something like that. So I just want to ask what kind of AI models, I mean, real-time translations thing can be added more value.
Yes, maybe manual voice recordings or transcripts may be more cost efficient in the short term. However, in cases of severe disasters, it may be difficult for those personnel to translate those as quickly as possible. But in case of AI models, if we create the data and our model, it can be applied immediately. And also, in the long term, it can be applied to places all over Nepal and to other countries as well. So in the long term, we believe that it will be more cost efficient, and in general, it'll be a much more quicker process to deliver these alerts.
Yeah, thank you for answering my questions. Maybe I can add some kind of suggestion. So not only just alert delivery, but I also believe that if you consider adding more functions to your like AI model, such as like two-way communication or like ongoing public information, just, continuously servicing or something like that, I think is going to be very much useful. Yeah. Not
Yes.
only just, translating information into their local languages.
Yes, we actually also considered that in our initial brainstorming. However, we decided to sort of reduce our scope so we can target the specific project more efficiently. But thank you very much for your suggestion. It's very helpful. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, team SDG girls, and thank you, evaluators. Before we move forward to the next team, I would also like to remind all the other teams that the questions that our evaluators are posing is to also help you assess your project on the feasibility and or how to improve it further. So if for your response for the next team coming and the others, please don't take the questions as a right or wrong or as a basis for you to have a grade, but take it more so as an opportunity for you to improve the project so that we can apply it in reality. All right? Wonderful. Okay, for the second team, Project Veritas, are we ready?
Yes, we are.
All right. Dear evaluators, I give you the floor again to ask the next team. Thank you.
Are we keeping the same order of question, or
Yeah, let's
can
do
we?
that. Let's do that. Do
Okay.
the same.
I don't think we should keep the same order. That's the reason I didn't ask question.
All right. So whoever is ready then. Juno, you want to start
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, sure. I can start. Thank you. Thank you for the presentation. I think it was a very nice model and application that you're trying to attempt to create. I just had one small question. I understand, and also it was impressive that 57% of all the bribery happens in the public procurement. I was not aware of that. But I was wondering because I didn't see the data, or what kind of data will you be using to make this happen. So I don't understand if it's first of all if it's feasible to create this application because I don't have an understanding of the data that you're using it. So if you can further elaborate on what kind of data will you be using and what kind of model you will be using to create this application, that will help me understand technically if this is feasible or not.
Thank you for the question, and thank you for listening to our presentation lately. To help you understand, could we share our annex showing the data that we're using? Yeah, thank you. Please wait for a moment. Yes. So basically, we're suggesting a universal program, but before moving, developing an international model, we suggest to make a pilot program for the Korea to make, yeah, make sure it is feasible for the government to take it. So this is the data source for the pilot program for developing a Korean one. And the reason why we picked Korea as a pilot is because that they have a lot of digitalized data, as seen on the screen right now. They have CONEPS or Fair Trade Commission. They also have a record of the crime on a court on a digitalized version also, and in the same format for every companies or the cases. So it would be more better to make those kind of system itself. And in case of development tools, we've shown during our presentation, but it was really short. So let me share it again. Yeah. So basically, it covers many kind of applications, and we made a multiple options for each functions because in some countries those kind of application would be not working in case of Google in the China, for example. So to make it international, seek to use various kind of sources and various kinds of applications to implement itself since it is a huge system as it is mentioned. And to expand it to the international model, we would like to use each country's digitalized data and also a United Nations and international organizations data, though the one of the biggest homework that we should do is to make sure that those governments have digitalized data in the first hand. So the expansion plan itself is quite tough, but we are seeking that it will be possible in a long pace. Thank you for the question.
Thank you. Just a small follow-up question. So if I understood correctly, you're using a type of classification model to flag those type of bribery because yeah, so a little bit of explanation on the model that you'll be using to flag or identify those bribery instances.
Yes, it is correct. As Mr. Lee has been stated, we are gonna use the classification model, but in the first time, since they're in a different format, so we would like to structure and make a category of each forms. What we would like to categorize and what we would like to detect with the experts itself, and then categorize itself and then classify those data. And those process, sadly, we studied as much as possible, but we are actually social science students, so we're not really experts in the coding methods. So we've made a budget plan on those experts using. So looking at the budget plan itself, we implemented many ratio in the AI and data infrastructure to make sure that experts would touch upon those process.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for your answer. I think it's complete and this it addresses all my question. Just to give you a tip, since you're still developing this, there is, I don't know if it will be help you, but there is a paper where I created an automated classification methods for ODA project. So maybe if our colleagues at UMPOG can connect us, maybe I can send you my paper or other papers that I take into consideration when I was developing the model. So yeah.
Oh, thank you for the comment. We will definitely connect you.
Thank you. Next.
Yes, maybe I can ask some questions. It's kind of related to data as well. First of all, I thank you so much for your presentation, and I do believe public procurement is a critical area where governments prioritize accountability and also transparency. And I believe this is the area where they can benefit the AI-driven models. So first of all, my question is, if this is a classification model, whether the such project implementation seems like corrupted or like some sort of this decision, I kind of feel like this is gonna be benefit for law enforcement agencies rather than just general government because it's linked to the criminal activities. So this is just first idea that I come up with. And another question is, your models also aiming at proactive auditing and also real-time monitoring. And I believe these can only work if contractors who implement the project should provide timely and detailed data while the project is being implemented. So to enable these, I assume contractors would need to submit project implementation documents or budget updates promptly, perhaps even in real time. And my concern is actually from here. So this could create a heavy administrative burden and slow processes. So do you have any approach that you consider to minimize this kind of burden while still ensuring your system receives the data it needs? Thank you.
Thank you for your question. I think we had two questions. For the first one, Ms. Kim gave us a recommendation that the program would work better in law enforcement. We believe this can also give help to the law enforcement, but as we stated in the problem statement, there are still the gap of time between the law enforcement and the real bribery happening, and the gap between that is increasing every year. And I think addressing that problem is also critical, and we could think about an enforcement, like a draft enforcement policy for that. But I think this has a meaning in the public procurement area since we are using public data and it is more focused on the subcontracting bids. That leads to the second question, which is about if it has to be proactive and real time, how is the data going to be provided real time? First of all, as we presented in the PPT, we are going to use the historical data that are already out there and also the open source data. So we would like to make a proactive model and use the sandbox pilot if this really works, and then apply it to the real system. So I believe those phases would be more important to solve these limitations. And also, when we do data implementation, we have to do the tracking, and we also have to do the updates in real time in the middle of the process now. So if we make a more simple system, it can become like more simple. So if we do the paperwork every time we have to send this to the enforcement, all the companies would not be doing that, and it would be very time costly. But if we use this platform we made, this would make it automized, and keeping it automatically sent to the system and submitting it will be more efficient for the companies and the enforcement also. So I think the email system, still could be tracked, and we could also use this program in the system then when they are actually sending the documents to the upper system. So we believe that there will be more improvement in the systems, and also by the budget plan we have provided, there would be more improvements in how we are going to use this to train people, the end users, how they are going to really send this information and how they're going to make it automated and how they are going to make it into a system. I think my response is getting a little longer, but lastly, as we provided information about the tools we are actually going to use, like NLP, like OCR, these things, I think we could really look at the documents and see the patterns from them. And that makes kind of a bias that can help us. And by these things, I think we could make this into like a GML or use SHAP to make a more replicable tool for many companies and institutions in this bidding process. I think it was kind of a large response, but I hope this is an answer that everyone was looking for. Thank you. If there are any team members who want to build on my answer, please feel free.
No, I think thank you so much, Gan. I think your answer was enough, and I see that your platforms not only having like AI model, but your platform's gonna provide some kind of communication channel that the contractor and also the government can communicate, maybe share some information, and based on that information from the platform you collect, it's gonna be used to detect sort of activities, right? Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. I wonder if you could share key criteria to detect corruption in subcontracting bidding system. And could you elaborate more on how the system could be improved through the use of AI technology?
Thank you for the question. I would like to repeat if we understood the question well. It was the question this Song gave us is about the specific criteria of our plan with using the AI tools.
So you try to detect corruption in subcontract bidding. So how do you detect it is corrupted? So what's the criteria? Maybe AI automatically generates criteria, or is there any man-guided criteria for your system to detect corruption in the system? And since this is the focus on the AI technology, so I think this kind of system could be established without AI technology. So if you, since you use AI technology, you may stress or emphasize the reason why you use AI technology is very good, and you may explain this.
First of all, thank you for the detailed question. To answer the first one, how we will detect the this corruption. There is several categories that we have been designed, but we would like to develop via the explainable AI, so it could detect the patterns itself and then expand the category also. But just to give few categories, few criterias that we have been ideation upon. So in the bidding process itself, the circular bidding patterns and also price fiction agreements. Also, multiple bits submitted by the same IP or the device could be the key to detect itself. And in case of proxy bidding, we can detect the use of shell companies with no execution capacity or restricted tenders accessible only to select the companies itself. And step by step, there is the differentiated criterias. But since the time restriction, I will give just a few example. In case of post-award and contract execution area, to catch the subcontracting fraud, we could detect the award project subcontracted to unqualified or incapable entities or excessive markups in inflated costs. And in case of financial and payment irregularities, we can detect the billing for the goods or services or manipulating price or unnecessarily line items. I believe that when you hear about this project, there is some kind of criteria it is really bold that we should detect itself. So that would be the basic of this program. And why we wanna implement the AI itself in this one is that those kind of bidding process is getting really, really detailed, and it is really hard to detect by a human or those kind of basic computer analysis. As we mentioned in our problem analysis, there is a broker intervention also, and then they're trying to lie and fraud upon the government system itself. And I believe in current government system, they also kind of detect those kind of things before heading on to the human resources. But however, it has not been really developed, like initially developed itself. And I believe that throughout the years, those kind of fraud will be more detailed and hard to be detected. So those kind of criteria should be changed immediately upon these patterns. And then we believe that AI could catch those kind of patterns which human cannot really detect or which requires really a lot of time for human to detect. So that was the reason why we want to implement the AI in those bidding corruption process to make it more effective and to make it more correctly and also make it more transparent. I believe that our fellow teammate Kain will more talk about the question itself.
To add, the reason we particularly want to implement an AI detection system in subcontracting is that without AI, continuous fraud and corruption in subcontracting contracts have persisted. So can we show the annex for this presentation?
In the interest of time as well, perhaps we can further send that document later, if that's all right.
I think the answer is enough, I understand.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Team Project Veritas. Let's move forward to the next team. We ask the following teams to also be brief with their responses, all right? Okay. Team LYC, are we ready?
Yes, yes.
Yep.
All right. Bringing you in now. Jisoo, you want to ask the first question this time?
Sure. So thank you so much for your presentation. I don't see them on screen. Yes, here we go. So thank you so much for your presentation and also highlighting the importance of data visualization. I think your project is more like delivering some information with intuitive and readable visualization. So my questions are going to be a little bit like, so you are not developing like AI model or some kind of pipeline from the very early stage of data until the visualization, right? If I'm not mistaken, I think you are using existing AI models and then you created visualization using that model and then provide those output into your platform, right?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if you're familiar with the website Napkin AI, and basically what
I
it
do.
does, yeah, exactly. So that's basically the idea. I'll just explain for if anyone's not familiar. Basically, what Napkin AI does is you give it, a bunch of text or maybe your notes, and then it'll create a sort of diagram, a model with, pictures and connections, things like that, to help you be able to understand and visualize that information better. That is essentially what Count Your One is. It takes the information, in this case, all the spreadsheets of how taxes are collected and then used, and it visualizes it kind of like how Napkin AI will visualize, I don't know, your biology notes and make you a neat little presentation.
Mm-hmm. Oh, thank you. So maybe my question is going to be more like comment. So I do remember you may have like sources that you're going to use to make it graphs and also easy like visualization. And I'm pretty sure you are familiar with the platform named Open Fiscal Data, which is provided by Ministry of Economy and Finance, like Republic of Korea. So when you go to see this website, there are a bunch of reports and data tabulation as well regarding like budget data, like everything. So maybe you can check that website if you are struggling with having like data to make it visualize. So, and yeah, that's gonna be it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, Miss Song or Juno?
I think it's very interesting idea to be implemented, but I'm not entirely sure whether a system can be established to provide visibility into our tax money is being sent. So each taxpayer wants to know how the tax spent, but my tax paid can be visualized through this system in where that my tax is spent. Could you explain more
Yeah.
about this?
So essentially, the whole point of the website is especially categorization, right? So basically, we're going to connect it directly to the tax collection accounts and tax expenditure accounts of the governments, which there are multiple. So, for example, you know how you pay. I'm not sure if this is exactly how it works in Republic of Korea, but in other countries, you have where you have, okay, say you spend 10% of your taxes will go to healthcare, 10% will go towards education, 15% towards infrastructure, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So what Count Your One, or one of the features of Count Your One is that it'll say, okay, 10% of your income is taken, and of the population of your income is taken, and it goes towards this health tax. Then, where do these exact tax dollars end up? Do they end up actually going to healthcare, or is there something fishy going on per se? So that's essentially the premise.
Oh, it's.
Oh, we
Are you
can.
waiting for my turn?
I-
Are you waiting for my turn, Terry?
I think Miss Song is trying to say
Yeah,
something.
yeah. I'm sorry.
Okay.
My microphone was off. uh, I'd like to understand. I mean, everybody wants to know the fact, and also when we pay tax, we know like we pay. If I pay additional tax, then the tax will be like dedicated to like education or sometimes theater area, something like that. But in order to have this kind of system, each taxpayer's payment should be earmarked. I mean, connected to the final, how should I say, final spending of the tax. So let's say government build bridge. Then the administration should have data. This budget is from eventually which taxpayer in order to have the system you propose. So feasibility to keep that kind of data would be very difficult.
You cannot respond. Okay, fine, I'll respond. Essentially, the whole point is the government has this information. It's just a matter of actually visualizing it for the average voter and the average taxpayer to understand. But the government, they have the spreadsheets. They know exactly where they're spending their money on. They document these kinds of things. You know, that's the whole point of government. They have complicated systems to do this. All the Count Your One is doing, they're not getting the data, they're not making the data, but rather they're just taking what there already is, and which I'm pretty sure parts of it you can access, but instead of having it in a very long spreadsheet, which is very complicated, very super hard to understand, especially for young people, they're taking that spreadsheet and they're instead putting it in a simple, nice and interactive graph. But the data itself, basically the government has it, and then all Count Your One does is visualize it.
Yeah, it's not impossible. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Juno?
Okay, yeah, maybe I should have asked first. Yeah, because Jizu exactly asked the same question I was going to ask. So, but just to add a comment, thank you for the presentation. First of all, I was also going to mention the open fiscal data. If you go there, there's a whole complete data of how government ministries are using their money. And the reason why I was going to mention this is that I understand ideally you want to have a detailed data of how ministries are spending. But if you do it too detailed, I think that's impossible because you will have an infinite list of things. And even though you want to draw a Sankey diagram, you will have an infinite diagram going down and down and down. So the best way of drawing a Sankey diagram will be getting as a reference point the open fiscal data that Jisoo just mentioned. But if you're gonna take that and draw a Sankey diagram, then I don't see any difference of all the graphs that are already in that open portal. Yeah, I understand the Sankey diagrams are better in terms of aesthetics, but I don't think a better UI will grasp more attention or more interest. So my comment, and there's no question here, but is that if you try to apply some actual AI methodology while creating a Sankey diagram or come up with a better AI solution will be more feasible and more appealing than just drawing a better UI system for visibility.
Yeah, I know it's out of question. All I would respond to that is, well, first of all, two parts. In terms of how detailed it goes, I think the point of going more into detail isn't so much that you actually go in and access that information, but rather to enhance credibility. Because if it just vaguely says, oh yeah, 300 million won is being sent on defense, that could very easily lead to corruption, because then, you know, where does that actually end up going? And then to address your second main point, the Sankey diagram, the whole point is you can customize the features. So you can have it adapts, it tailors to whatever you want. You can ask it, okay, how detailed do you want it to be? That's the main point. Then the other features, especially the detail, you can customize the detail in terms of how much you actually want to know, how much you care. The idea of having it to 100% detail is for the sake of credibility. And then in terms of the UI, I genuinely, to be honest, I do believe that having a better UI, especially for younger people, where they just go on a simple website, which would be disseminated ideally by the government, ideally, to appeal especially to younger people, it could be very effective because I don't know about you, but I do not look at the government of Argentina's, tax records. But if there was a simple website, I think that would really appeal to the youth generation, even if it's, not a super complicated idea. All it really is trying to make the information that's already available more accessible.
All right. Thank you very much, Team LYC. We move on to the next team, Civic Lens. Again, at the interest of time, as a reminder, we'll probably try to make the responses brief, at least 3 minutes or so. We'll try to time it from our side to make sure that we still catch up on the time. I see it's very interesting, the question and answer sessions from the participants. Team Civic Lens, we ready?
Yeah. We're
Yeah.
ready.
All right. The evaluators, anyone who want to throw in their question first? Miss Song?
I think it's my turn. Well, I have a very simple question. How do you catch rumors in real time? I think you mentioned this. How do you catch rumors in real time?
Well,
That's
yeah,
my
thank you
question.
for your questions. Actually, this is an interesting question because rumors spread fast and we don't even know what's real and what's not. And this is a reality. Actually, our AI models is based on like different strategic. First, we're gonna analyze these messages with LLM to check for clarity. Clarity, we're gonna score it as is it clear, is it not, and after that we're gonna check, the model will check the source of the information from where the this news gets started, where who's sharing it, and where we can find it. And after that, for now we're trying to include youth fact checkers to we can say to amplify our model and to train it even better in order to get better results each time.
And also just to add more on that, like technically speaking, so we are setting social media APIs, which help us track like the trends going on social media, and with the help also of our fact checkers and people who are gonna report, for example, if they're based in that area and like there is a rumor or like an emergency happening, then they could report in a timely manner, and then with the help of our like checkers and also the authorities like institutions that we are aiming to partner with here in the MENA, starting in Tunisia and then in the MENA region. So they will like make sure that we have correct information other than the API model and the AI model as well that we're using.
Thank you. I think your answer makes me comfortable. Maybe I misheard that. In your presentation, I heard you detect rumors in real time. So that's the reason why I asked this question. Thank you.
Jisoo or Jono, any follow-up questions?
Yes, I think I can, or maybe I think Jisoo wanted to ask a question. Can I go first? Okay, sure. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your presentation. It was very interesting. I have two questions actually. First of all, I felt that if you try to contain it too much, it will become basically a news system like the CNN or the BBC. If you open it too much, it will become like a Wikipedia where everybody can try to write something and post something. So I was wondering, how do you find a midpoint within that opposite extremes? And my second question is that I understand that at the end of the day, the detection of the news to be a rumor or a fake rumor or actual rumor will be a classification process such as ham or spam messages. So I'm also interested in the technical aspect. What's your criteria of classifying as a ham, or what's your criteria of classifying as a spam? So those are two questions that I had.
So basically what like we're trying to do is to include communities that are based in the regions to actually report, and basically it's true that it's open to everyone to report online, but we're working with like on partnerships with like youth networks for fact checking. And also, we are trying to build partnerships with institutions like the Ministry of Police, for example, and other ministries that are relevant to our project. And basically, so we will use their expertise in kind of trying to decide whether it's a spam or not. So they're gonna verify for us, and also the AI trained model with connections with APIs will help us kind of like get statistics on what people are saying, whether it's a rumor or not. And then based on that, with the fact checkers team, they're gonna try to kind of decide whether like this is a spam or not, and then assign it the credibility score based on all of these data that we're getting on a timely manner and also from the fact checking experts.
Yeah, I would like also to add to this. Thank you for your question. Basically, for the report method, it's available for everyone, but not for now. For now, we are trying like to improve the model with like testing and specific youth categories. We know that these reports are important, but after in the future, when we try to improve our models, we can like verify this news information. Not every report will get like published or in the dashboard. We're gonna take that into consideration in order for the model to predict and to analyze if that news in the internet is right or is truth or just a spam. Yeah.
So just basically to summarize all of that, so we start with like an AI pre-screening, and then also like it's true that anyone can submit information tips or content links into Civiclands, whether in the chatbot or the port page, and then but before the content like reaches the public, it goes through the AI verification and also human moderation pipelines through the fact checker networks to be able to decide whether like an assign a credibility score. So that's basically it.
Thank you. Perhaps we can move on, and then we have Jisoo ask the first question to the last team, if that's all right. All right, calling in team OCR.coop. Thank you, Team Civiclands.
Thank you so much for your questions.
Thank you for your question.
Thank you so much.
If I remember correctly, I haven't asked my questions for the civic lens, but I think my questions are already addressed, so I think it's fine. So we can
Okay.
OCR group, yeah. Viz AI. Check. Oh, okay, so my question, let me check my note. Okay, so the model that you develop, if I'm understand correctly, I think Viz AI works after the user already has immigration document or form, so whether in draft form or an issued notice, right? So you're gonna have an AI model to read all the information already from existing documents, and then gonna give some advice to the users, if I'm not mistaken. Right, yes. So I kind of feel like maybe this is kind of more like suggestion and also question. So would there be a way for Viz AI to support applicants from the very beginning like stage, such as identifying the right visa type and assisting with form completions, like using AI or something like this? Thank you.
So I believe, yes, the basis of the Biz AI is that the AI is already fed with successful cases of documentation, which means that the initial document already has supporting documents aligned with the submission. So if the applicant has at least like some type of document to show which documentation they will be pursuing, as you have mentioned, whether it be immigration, visa, and etc., the AI would have already successful cases into it, so it would support it based on those cases.
So it's more like helping applicants to prepare all the documents and everything right before the final submission. Yeah, I think you can expand the scope of your projects to help very first stage if because the AI model that you are planning to develop, I think it's going to be really relevant and helpful many foreigners, especially in Korea. I do have experience in my colleagues, they are struggling with preparing all the documents and everything. So yeah, thank you for your presentation and also a great idea. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you.
while we would want to hear the evaluators ask their questions, we also try to consider the time as we have gone overboard. I see that it has become very, very interesting. So for the evaluators, if you have any more questions, perhaps you may want to type them via chat, and our participants can also respond there if you have any. And I guess for now, we will have to conclude the session. Thank you very much, team and evaluators, for the time. Shelly, I give the floor back to you.
Thank you, Carrie, for moderating the Ideas for Change contest and the evaluators for the excellent questions. I would also like to congratulate the 5 teams, SDG Girls, Project Veritas, LYC, Civic Lens, and OCR.Coop for sharing your creative ideas. And now we will move to session 3 on ethical AI governance, youth pioneering, accountability, and trust in public institutions. I would like to introduce to you my colleague, Mr. Jin-Sung Choi. He is an associate research and policy analysis expert at UMPOG, DPIDG, UNDESA. Jin-Sung, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, or perhaps good morning to our colleagues and news participants. My name is Jin-Sung Choi. I'm an associate research and policy analysis expert at UMPOG, UNDESA. Above all, let me congratulate our youth participants today for their insightful presentation of their projects. We are able to witness the brilliance of youth in terms of bringing innovation and creativity to public policy and public administration. Our final session is on ethical AI governance, youth pioneering, accountability, and trust in public institutions. And since we are running quite behind the time, I will go straight into introducing our speakers today. Our first speaker is Mr. Abhishek Venkateswaran, Project Officer in UNESCO Regional Office for South Asia. He will speak about youth-led efforts for inclusive, trustworthy, and ethical AI systems, sharing UNESCO's work in AI ethics and youth empowerment. Mr. Venkateswaran, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Jinsong. I'll share my screen and just a second. Is my screen visible?
Yes, yes, please.
And is the slideshow visible as well?
We can see not the slideshow, but the whole PowerPoint screen.
Okay, just 1 second.
Sure, take your time, please.
Is this fine now?
Yes, yes. You can go ahead. Thank you.
Perfect, perfect. Good afternoon, everyone. Happy to be here. I am Abhishek and I work with the UNESCO Regional Office for South Asia, which is located in New Delhi. And I'm a project officer and I lead the work on AI ethics that's being done in the region. Before I go into my specific topic about youth-led efforts, I want to specifically talk about our mandate, which is basically the ethics of AI. So the social and human sciences sector in UNESCO has been tasked with the mandate of implementing the recommendations on the ethics of AI, and this still remains the world's first normative standard-setting framework when it comes to ethical AI principles, and has been adopted by 193 countries till date. And there are various ways in which we operationalize this. But before we go on to the implementation, I want to sort of stress on why ethical AI matters. We're seeing innovations happening every day, every hour, and a lot of it has been it has presented a lot of opportunities across various sectors of the economy for the society. But still, I think one of the fundamental questions when it comes to the design and development of technologies is that why ethics matters. And in the context of AI, why ethical AI matters. So we see that a lot of technologies, when it comes to digitalization, has fostered a sense of equity. There are more people who are participating online, can access services, online education, digital healthcare. So there's a sense of equity that is necessary when it comes to design and developing new technologies. We have to know the human impact of these technologies when it comes to all pervasive technologies like AI, which is relevant for education, healthcare, agriculture, financial services, and so much more. Trust. Now, the success of every technology depends on the people who are adopting them. We see with we see this with e-governance. We see this with like financial services. We see this with so many other applications where people are like more encouraged to try out new applications if they trust the technologies. And if you trust AI, and I think there is a lot of opportunity for AI to win over people. How do you steer innovation? Ethically, it provides like a moral direction for innovation. I understand this is like very like whenever we talk about AI, it's a lot about code, it's a lot about software, it's a lot about hardware, supply chains, but it still does not sort of provide a moral direction. Ethics provides a moral direction, whether it's transparency, explainability, whether it's privacy, whether it's protecting the dignity of people. So it provides like a direction for how innovation should shape up over the next few years, and shared norms. So ethical AI provides like a broad framework for countries to agree on, and then maybe work towards a global AI governance. So like shared norms are important for such common and shared efforts for global AI governance. The mandate on the UNESCO recommendation on the ethics of AI, like I said, is the first ever global standard on the AI ethics adopted by 193 countries. We have 10 guiding principles which span transparency, explainability, sustainability, privacy, proportionality. And we do not talk about these principles in isolation. We talk about how these principles can be applied across various sectors, such as healthcare, education, data governance, gender inclusive policies. So these 11 policy areas help contextualize the principles that the framework contains. The values and the principles, it's basically intertwined, where overarching values of diversity and inclusiveness, ecosystem flourishing, human rights and dignity, and peaceful, just, interconnected societies give rise to 10 principles that you can see on the right side of your screen, such as safety and security, fairness, sustainability, right to privacy. And then these are contextualized into policy areas. Now, coming back to the topic at hand, why do we want to talk about youth participation in AI? So, multiple reports suggest that South Asia is one of the largest, has one of the largest proportion of youth and adolescents. Over 340 million adolescents, and largest youth labor force in the world. We have more people coming into the workforce every day, more students learning about AI in schools every day. So, and we are seeing a generation which is living with AI. At least a lot of people in this room have seen an age where we were not so intertwined with AI, and now we are seeing a generation that's coming up that's living with AI every day, and they see AI as the most all-pervasive technology. And from coding to youth, we see that from coding to campaigning, we see that youth are early adopters and experimenters when it comes to AI. Whether it's developing new GPTs, whether it's developing new models, whether it's developing new applications or services that leverage AI. And we see a lot of initiatives by the youth across the world which highlight biases, opportunities, risks that AI contains, and which other older generations might miss because of how frequently they interact with AI. Yet, despite this large demography, despite this large usage of AI, we see that the youth is largely absent from decision making on AI. We see that AI strategies and governance bodies in the region often lack youth representation or dedicated channels for incorporating perspectives from the youth. And a lot of these policies are implemented from the top to the bottom, which just means that the youth becomes like more of a consumer rather than a contributor to the AI ecosystem. One of the flagship tools that UNESCO has when it comes to implementing the ethics of AI is the readiness assessment methodology, which basically assesses how ready a country is when it comes to developing and deploying ethical AI. And for this purpose, this is basically like a large research exercise which culminates in a report. And we're doing this for India, Bangladesh, and Maldives. And as part of this whole process, we conduct consultations across the country. For India, we conducted about stakeholder consultations across the country. And in one of the regions in Guwahati, we had a dedicated breakout group on youth because of the large participation of college going students, university students, young workforce. So we decided to have like a separate breakout group on the youth itself. And the views on AI by the youth population is quite interesting because a lot of early university students who are consumers of AI, they see, they see it as necessary. They see it as a useful tool for productivity. They depend on it on a lot for professional settings, but but it comes down to the low trust. I mean, the common opinion that they shared was that they don't trust AI a lot because they don't know how the data is being used. They don't know how AI recommends a lot of services to them. They don't know how AI works in general. And why does it matter? Why does it present like a concern? So when in my previous slide, I talked about how the youth, when it comes to like school students or university students or early workforce, they're heavy AI users and adopters, and they can shape AI for socioeconomic development. And a low AI literacy limits their potential to leverage AI for social development. And what we sort of took away from this consultation is that there is a strong need for youth's participation when it comes to public policy making on AI governance, and on how AI can be used safely and trustworthily for the population. There are some examples on how like the youth has been working when it comes to ethical AI engagement. For example, in India, we have under the India AI mission, we have the India AI Fellowship, where students across different universities and schools they are invited to submit projects leveraging AI on diverse themes such as agriculture, education, finance, language translation, manufacturing, medical advancements. And the view is to scale up these initiatives and encouraging students' interaction and youth participation in safe and ethical AI making from like a very early stage. We also had the AI-driven design competition by UNDP organized in Bangladesh. And given that South Asia and Bangladesh have a rich tapestry of cultural heritage, so how do youth understand this cultural heritage through the lens of AI? And how can AI be used to reinterpret and reimagine some of these like cultural icons and cultural symbols? In Sri Lanka, we have AI clubs that the government has introduced in various schools that becomes focal points for governments to engage with school students in AI. We also have a lot of private sector providers who are now focusing on students and youth to curate dedicated internet packages for access to AI tools and platforms. Till now, data internet packages focused on like a broad-based use of internet, such as platforms, voice-based messages, voice and then voice-enabled internet protocol messages. But now we see that companies are coming up with dedicated packages to improve access to AI tools. UNESCO also is doing a lot of work on AI and education in Nepal, and they periodically organize consultations on how to integrate AI with education. And the youth have been like very active participants in these consultations. So, what are some common trends in how how young people participate when it comes to public policy making on AI? You have workshops where like they participate in hands-on learning experiences. They focused on like very niche areas which require greater training. You also have hackathons where university students can, especially in India, where there's a huge culture for hackathons, where students are invited to sort of solve real-time problems across different sectors such as sanitation, financial services, healthcare, and then the view is to scale up these projects from a very early stage. Policy dialogues. In a lot of countries in South Asia, you have this culture of a roundtables, multi-stakeholder consultations where youth are active participants. In Bangladesh and India, you have youth-led think tanks, and in government consultations on official laws and policies, you sometimes also have like active university participation and youth club participation. How community building, you also see that in so like in India, for example, we have a lot of young people who are working on AI, trying to build a community through podcasts, through events, through discussion clubs, where like-minded people who work on AI, especially safe and ethical AI, can come together, discuss the emerging trends, how to proceed, what are some opportunities for scaling up ethical AI initiatives in the country. So you have this community building up in different parts of the country. Then you also have youth-led think tanks, like I just mentioned. In Bangladesh, you have this Institute for Informatics and Development, which is a youth-led think tank that contributes to official policy submissions in response to government legislation. And in Sri Lanka, like I mentioned, AI clubs in schools, which starts off like an early pathway for engagement of young people with official policy making on AI. So even though we can see that there are these lot of mechanisms that exist for participation of the young population in policy making in AI, we see that there are gaps. Now, what are these gaps? So there's definitely a gap on AI literacy where you can see a visible gap in the understanding of what is AI, why ethics in AI matters, and how AI works. So when there is such inconsistent access to ethical AI training, we see that a lot of dialogues and conversations about AI gets limited into the more urban parts of the country, and which should actually focus on the grassroots and the less urban parts of the country. We see a trust deficit. We see that even though the youth is depending a lot on AI for professional purposes, we see that there is a trust deficit. Given a chance, they wouldn't want to use AI because they don't know how their data is being used, how the conversations are being processed, and how are they protected in this whole ecosystem. There's a lack of diversity. So when you talk about policy dialogues, when you talk about consultations, when you talk about representations of the youth in such official policy making processes, we see that it's usually the participation from more urban cities, more advanced universities, and then there's less representation from less urban areas and smaller universities. We also need to have more diverse participation, such as people not only from technical background but also from law, arts, humanities, um, and the arts. So what happens is we contribute to ethical AI policy making with diverse perspectives. And like the most important drawback here is the missed policy linkage. I mean, none of this is going to be useful if the inputs from the young population of the country is not going to feed into the policy at all. It's one thing to just hold a consultation, invite them to participate, and it's one thing to actually record their observations and make sure that it is integrated into official policies. So there's a visible gap there as well. So based on what's happening and what are the gaps, I think there are 5 key points of action when it comes to encouraging greater youth participation in AI. For example, like I said, to improve the gap between participation and actual contribution, we need to embed youth voices in AI governance and policy processes, and make sure their submissions, make sure their observations are integrated in their official feedback. Um, you also need to expand ethical AI literacy programs through schools, university, and community programs. It's not only about the few people who have access to AI and who use AI, it's also about all those people who can be impacted in various ways. So this involves sort of telling people about what is AI, why ethics and safety matters, and how AI works. um, a lot of grassroots innovations are also happening across the non-urban centers of the countries in South Asia. So we need to support youth-led innovations that address inclusivity, transparency, and sustainability. You see a lot of promising initiatives happening in villages, happening in small towns, happening in less urban areas. And I think there's a lot of like problems that they're trying to solve, which needs immediate attention. Will
Abhishek,
we? Yeah.
Abhishek, thank you. And sorry for interrupting. It would be very much appreciated if we could wrap up.
Absolutely. I'm coming to my last point anyway. So basically, we need to create more cross-sector collaboration between the youth, policymakers, academia, and industry so that there can be a better exchange of perspectives, there can be a more diverse participation, and there can be a more fruitful exchange of thoughts for concrete policy making. I think that's my time and that's my presentation. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Abhishek, for sharing your insights on the critical role of youth in shaping inclusive and ethical AI ecosystems. Our next speaker is Mr. Bill Sudarman, AI ethics activist from Indonesia. He will discuss youth innovations for bias mitigation and accountability in the public sector, highlighting practical approaches to reducing bias in AI governance tools. Mr. Sudarman, the floor is yours.
Hi, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let me share my screen real quick. Will you give me 1 minute? I think I need to redo the settings.
Sure, sure. In the meantime, if you have any questions, please post in the comment box so that I can address to the speakers. Thank you.
Okay, so I hope you could see my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen. Thank you.
Visible?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. I believe it's around 6 p.m. in South Korea and maybe in also in other countries. So thank you for all your presentations. I've seen a great young innovators from South Korea, from Afghanistan, from many other countries. I've seen really amazing projects. So maybe a little bit introductions from myself. I'm Abil Sudarman. I was also an executive director for the largest AI research association in Indonesia, which is Korika. So we do many events like this also. I think it's good to partner with UN some other time. So from what I've seen, innovation in Indonesia, I'm going to share some cool stories, success stories, maybe a bit that can be a motivation for all of you trying to innovate in a public sector. So let me share a bit some insights for all of you. Okay, so before you innovate, there is some problems. At least it happens in Indonesia. I don't know if it's also happened in South Korea and other countries, but in Indonesia we have something called deep-rooted corruptions. Indonesia, I think I'm very ashamed, but I have to admit that there's so many corruption cases in Indonesia. If you could search the news portal, yes, let's say you just Google Indonesian minister's name, and then you will find a lot of corruption cases here in Indonesia. Even we elect some of these government officials, even though they have pre-convicted for corruptions. So it's a lot of homework for us. And then we have so much economic growth potential, but we struggle. There's so many investors in other countries from foreign investors. They don't really trust the Indonesian government because of the corruption culture and then political instability sometimes, and it's not a good thing. And that's the thing that we have to, as a young generation, we have to fix some of this problem. If we take a look in the corruption challenge in Indonesia, we've been really bad. 92% of Indonesians view government corruption as a major problem. We do realize that it's a major problem. We want it to be fixed, but there are still a lot of deep-rooted problems that I mentioned earlier that still need to be fixed. And if we take a look at public service officers, staffers, users, many of them receive bribes. There's not a lot of them. If you have Indonesian friends, for example, if you wanna make a driving license, I think more than 90% of Indonesian have to bribe just to get a driving license. You can ask any of your Indonesian friends. I'm sure 9 out of 10 they have bribed some officers to get a driving license. And then the institution itself, we have what we call the KPK, or Corruption Eradication Commissions, but it doesn't seem to get some public trust because of their work as they don't really get the job done. There's still many corruption cases that are unrevealed. So still a lot of things to do. And then we're going to talk about the stagnant perceptions index. So here we can see the Indonesia Corruption Perceptions Index is ranked 115th globally. So it's really bad compared to Singapore. They're sitting at around 30, and then we have Malaysia, our neighboring country. They sit at 50, and Indonesia is really bad. Indonesian citizens really view the government of Indonesia as corrupt, and it is something that we have to fix as a young generation. If you can see, if you compare it to another countries, we have some other public institution officers here. We have police, we have judges, we have civil servants, So here is our score in Indonesia. So 28% of the people trust the police, 42% trust the judge, and only 33% Indonesian citizens trust in civil servants, and then some other politician, even worse, 25%. Cabinet officials, government ministers, even worse also, 25%. It's really bad because of their historical corruption cases in Indonesia. So there has to be a reform. There has to be innovation by the young generations, because Indonesia has 64 million young people between 16 to 30, Gen Z, millennials, and they are really the ones who will live Indonesia for 20, 30, 50 years to come. I hate to say this, but senior leaders, senior politicians, they don't really care that much about innovation. They don't care that much about corruption. They don't care that much about bias, accountability. They're just doing it as, okay, we have to fix this because that's our job. But the young generation, we care deeply because that is the world that we're going to live in. The same goes to youngsters in Korea, in Afghanistan. I've seen some amazing ideas, presentations. So you guys, all of you really care about the future of our country, the world that we're going to live in. Okay, so I'm going to share some stories of successful innovation in public sectors in Indonesia, which maybe some of you can get inspired. So this is maybe one of my good friends. I have 3 good friends, innovators, and we are going to talk about their stories. So he knows one thing that Indonesians hate, being extorted by the corrupt police officer. So if you drive in Indonesia, you come to Jakarta, let's say, and then you drive and you made a mistake, mostly you won't get a ticket because you can work your way around somehow and not getting a ticket. But you can, you know, there are some corrupt officers that take bribe. Not all of them, but some, but quite huge amount. So Indonesians really hate that, and it's a huge problem in Indonesia. So what he built was, he created what we call ETELE. ETELE is electronic ticketing system. I think it's already implemented in Seoul, in Incheon, in Korea, but it was implemented in Indonesia in 3 to 4 years ago. So it's a new thing for us. So the problem was, there are high potential for corruptions. If the police officers, the corrupt officers, find someone violates the traffic law, it will create the opportunities for bribery, which is proven already. There are so many cases of bribery in the street of Indonesia, in the road of Indonesia, and there's lack of transparency. There's literally no book or accountability in how much money the police receive from the citizen for fines. It's not tracked. The money is not going to the state of government. The money is not going to the police institution. The money just come to their pocket. Usually, there's some of them like that. And then the limited manpower also. The police cannot monitor the roads. If you have driven in Indonesia, you will see some of them driving like crazy, some motorcycles, bikes, and then some cars, they illegally use the wrong side of the road just to cut corners, save time, minutes, but they have to go to the illegal side of the road. So it's inefficient. It's hard to scale. There are not enough police officers to monitor all of these things. So the solution was very simple. It's an AI-powered video analytics that leverage AI to analyze the CCTV footage in real time. And I'm sure solution like this can also be built by university students, maybe from Yonsei, maybe from university in Afghanistan. They can also build this AI system But there's a catch, which we will talk about later on in the next few slides. And there's also a story about my good friend. This is Abigail. She knows one thing Indonesian hate. She's really smart person. We often receive a fake news about politics in election season. So there's so many fake news around, what we call buzzer. Buzzer is usually some bots that give a comments in social media. So there's some, let's say there's a political post about one presidential candidates, and then if you open up the comments, it's everything is a bots. It's just their weapons to win the elections. So Indonesian really hate that. Indonesian really hate fake news. I think all of the citizens in all of countries around the world also hate fake news. And then she built a very simple platform. It's actually a website. It's not. It doesn't really use AI that much. They use AI, but it's not AI that much. But it's a website that people can trust. So voters struggle to find a clear, unbiased information about political candidates or political party, for example. Do they have a history of corruption? Do they have a history of bribery or scandals or everything? Every information that are relevant to the election by the political candidates or a political related to political party put in a one simple website. So it's a website that they can trust. It's true. It's validated with real data. So it's a very clear problem. It's a very simple solution. And then the result, there are many youngsters, young generation, Gen Z, especially young people in Indonesia who just got their right to vote, 18-year-old, 19-year-olds. They can access the website and have an idea of who to vote, which is very hard for them if they are being bashed by fake news everywhere. And it's really proven, it's really a viral website at the time of elections. So it's really useful. Now,
Mr. Starman, would be appreciated if you could wrap up since we are running behind the time. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you for your reminder. So I'm gonna wrap up real quick. So what are the biggest challenge in Indonesia? And I think the same challenge in other countries also. So I think it is the adoption. Okay. I think it is the adoption. Because if you innovate, let's say you make AI models for this institution, for that, but adoption is not really that easy. The models is the easiest thing we can build. Let's say we build AI models for anti-corruption, for anti-bribery in police offices, for anti-whatever. But to actually the models can be used by the institution is very hard. I've seen my friends get intimidated by the some of the corrupt politicians. They get intimidated everywhere. They fail to sell the solution to the government institution. So there's so many hard things beyond the AI model. So what I want to say is, all of you are doing great. All of you are presenting a great solution today. But there's a lot of work to do, and I think from my experience, you have to partner up with some other senior people in the industry, from the leaders in the industry, and you really work together and get your solutions out there to be adopted by the government, by the public, and for the good of the citizens of your country. I think that's it from me. I hope every one of you always create another innovative solution, whether with AI or with other technologies. And I hope all of you don't give up just by building a presentation. Your solutions are amazing and should be used for the public good. So keep fighting for it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sudarman. We will now move on to the Q&A. And due to the time limitation, I will collect one question for each speaker from the floor. The question from the floor, which is, how can we raise awareness and provide greater access to AI for different people, especially in developing countries, will be addressed by Mr. Venkateswaran. And another question, which is actually from mine, the question, while listening to your presentation, there's a question that's been lingering in my mind. And then from the presentation, it seems that the trust gaps between the citizens and public institutions plays a huge role. So, Mr. Sudarman, how, in your local context, what kind of trust gap between citizens and public institutions exist, and how could AI help address such a disparity? I will ask Mr. Venkas Teswaran to answer the first question, and then we will move on to the Mr. Sudarman later on.
Thank you so much for the question, and I think it's quite a complex question. Ones that developing countries are still trying to tackle on an everyday basis. So I have three very quick points to make for this. First is that you will use a technology when you know more about it, right? When you see that there is scope for opportunity, there is an opportunity to use that technology. So I think you can sort of raise awareness and provide greater access to people by first improving AI literacy and digital literacy among population, especially in low income areas, low income populations. We see that there is a lot of scope with every sort of service from education to financial services being digitized and being AI enabled. It's very important that we at least have populations at least have the basic level of AI literacy that tells them on how to use AI, what is AI, and how does AI impact their interaction with all these public services. My second point is I think there is a lot of potential for open source technologies in these awareness campaigns. So I believe that a lot of coders, a lot of people who are working with the private sector and independently, they can use open source models to demonstrate how AI works among low income populations. Once the populations see firsthand about how AI works through such technologies, and how principles such as transparency, explainability, and privacy work through these open source technologies, I think it becomes easier for people to understand that technology. Second, I think there's also an important role when it comes to creating diverse data sets. You have a lot of companies, think tanks, and societies in India which exclusively focus on making sure that the data sets used for training AI are representative of local languages, of local cultures, of local populations. So I think a lot of grassroots campaigning should also must be representative of this diversity. So I think once we address these issues of AI literacy, transparency, and diversity, I think it becomes easier for people to trust AI and use AI a lot more. So that's my sort of response to this question.
Yeah. Mr. Choi, could you repeat your question? Were you asking about AI literacy gap, or do I get it wrong?
I was asking the question about the trust gap between the citizens and the public institutions. So how can AI help address such a trust gap between the citizens and public institutions?
Okay, so trust gap. Okay, so what I think happened is not. I think it's the citizen will not trust anything that are not beneficial to them. Maybe it's different in some other developed countries, but in Indonesia, you have to have a. If we talk about 99% of the population, you have to have a top-down approach. These people are not very educated, so it's not really about whether or not they trust it. I think we really need to have a top-down approach. Of course, we need to have AI literacy, but it's not AI is just a technology. It's also a digital literacy problem. So rather than talking about the AI literacy itself, we should talk about the literacy itself. How can we make a better education so that they can know what's wrong and what's right? A video just come across my my WhatsApp. It's really amazing. Maybe I can show it to you on the screen right here. So wait, can you see? Oh no, you cannot see it. So it's a video of a citizen in a rural city of Indonesia. They broke the CCTV that I just showed you earlier. So it's a electronic ticketing system. There's cameras on the red light, on the traffic light. There are many cameras, and these people are getting tickets. They hate it so much that they destroyed. They just destroyed with the bamboo or something, a really long bamboo, and they just poke it and just destroy the cameras. So it's not a really problem of trust. I think they will not accept anything that are not beneficial to them. So we need to have in developing countries, especially in a non-really educated citizen like Indonesia. We have so many citizens that's not as educated as South Korean, for example. We really need to have a top-down approach, and we really need to expand. We really need to teach a literacy education, not only in AI but in everything.
Sure. Thank you very much for your presentations and answers to the questions. This concludes the session 3 of the Youth Forum. Now I hand the floor to my colleague, Shelley. Shelley, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Jin-sung, for moderating session 3. We're also truly grateful to Mr. Abhishek Venkataswaran and Mr. Abid Sudarman for your excellent presentations.
Thank you.
What an incredible time we've had so far. We've heard brilliant presentations, and we witnessed amazing youth innovations through our Ideas for Change contest and engaged in thought-provoking discussions about ethical AI governance. Now, the moment many of you have been waiting for has arrived, the announcement of our Ideas for a Change contest winners. Today, we heard presentations from 5 outstanding teams: SD Girls, Project Veritas, LYC, Civic Lens, and OCR.Coop. Each team presented innovative AI-driven solutions that demonstrate the incredible potential of youth leadership in advancing the SDGs. The evaluation has been conducted fairly and openly with input from our expert evaluators and audience participation. I'm pleased to announce that 3 winners have been selected, and they will receive certification awards from our partners, the Ministry of the Interior and Safety, the Ministry of Environment, and Incheon Metropolitan City of the Republic of Korea. Additionally, all participating teams are invited to join the youth session of UN DESA's Regional Symposium, which will be held from 24 to 26 September. The MOIS awardee will have the special opportunity to deliver an in-person presentation during that youth session. So, the winners of the 9th Youth Forum Ideas for Change contest are, let's start with the 3rd place. 3rd place, sponsored by Incheon Metropolitan City. Civic Lens, for the AI-powered platform that monitors and analyzes and explains public communications from governments and institutions in real time, serving as a trusted digital filter that ensures citizens receive clear, accurate, and actionable information while safeguarding against misinformation, confusion, and bias. Congratulations once again.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Okay, now, 2nd place, sponsored by Ministry of Environment. Project Veritas, for their outstanding innovation on the AI Integrity System, an advanced AI-powered solution that proactively detects and mitigates corruption in public procurement, particularly subcontracting and bid rigging, to enhance governance transparency and efficiency in line with SDG 16. Congratulations. And the 1st place winner, sponsored by the Ministry of the Interior and Safety. SD Girls, for their innovative approach called Voice Bridge Nepal, an AI-powered human-centered disaster communication tool that uses neural translation, speech recognition, and local radio integration to deliver real-time, multilingual emergency alerts, bridging language barriers and ensuring inclusive, accessible preparedness for Nepal's remote and diverse communities. Congratulations.
Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much.
Congratulations to all our winners. Your innovations represent the very best of youth-led AI solutions for sustainable development. Congratulations also go to all the participants. Your ideas and passion give us tremendous hope for the future. Winners will be contacted directly about their awards and opportunities to present at the regional symposium. Thank you all for making this contest such a remarkable showcase of youth innovation. As we approach the conclusion of today's forum, let me invite Mr. Chang-Sup Han, Head of Office at UMPOG, DPIDG, UNDESA, to deliver the closing remarks and reflections on today's discussions. Mr. Han, the floor is yours.
Distinguished participant, 4 hours ago, we began with a challenge. We asked, can you drive AI solutions for sustainable development? Today, you have answered with a resounding yes. We have witnessed remarkable innovations, AI systems that improve public access to information, tools that enhance transparency and efficiency in governance, technologies that strengthen public service delivery, and platforms that empower citizens to detect, interpret, and respond to biased, misleading, or incomplete public communication in real time. These are visions of tomorrow. They are realities of today. Each project we saw reflects something far deeper than technical skill. It reflects vision, the vision to see problems others overlook, and the courage to solve them. But what impressed me most was this. Every single presenter spoke about impact, real impact, impact on real people. This is what sets your generation apart. You don't separate technology from humanity. You use one to serve the other. The Youth 2030 strategy, phase 2, puts it perfectly. Young people are empowered as equal partners, leaders, and rights holders, actively shaping policies, driving solutions, and holding institutions accountable. That is exactly what you have done here today. As you leave this forum, I invite you to remember 3 things. First, your ideas matter. Never let anyone tell you to wait your turn. The world needs your solutions now. Second, ethics are not optional. As you design and deploy AI, ask the hard questions. Who benefits? Who might be left behind? How do we ensure fairness and accountability? Third, connection amplifies impact. The relationships you've built today are as valuable as the code you'll write tomorrow. The United Nations called for local youth actions for the SDGs and beyond. And that is precisely what you are doing, taking global goals and turning them into local realities. You are not waiting for permission. You are not just asking for a seat at the table. You are building your own tables. Yes, the challenges ahead are significant. Climate change, inequality, conflict, and technological disruption. But so is your potential. AI will reshape our world. You will reshape AI. The SDGs will define our progress. You will define how we'll achieve them. As Secretary General Guterres reminds us, we must ensure every young person can reach their full potential. Today, we have seen that potential. Now it's time to unleash it. Build responsibly, innovate boldly, lead with purpose. The future is in excellent hands, your hands. Thank you for your innovation. Thank you for your leadership. And thank you for an extraordinary day. I would also like to express my heartfelt thanks to the Minister of the Interior and Safety of the Republic of Korea and the Incheon Metropolitan City Government, whose collaboration with UNPO, DPIDG, UNDESA made today's forum possible. My sincere appreciation goes to all the speakers for sharing their insights and to the evaluators for their dedication and reviewing the team's initiatives. The Ninth Youth Forum may be complete, but your work is only beginning. Go, change the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Han, for your wonderful closing remarks. Now we would like to hear from you. Please scan the QR code to access the evaluation survey. The link is also available in the chat. Let me give you a few seconds. Thank you, Tamana Farzami, for completing the evaluation. And we would also like to invite you to join the 9th Regional Symposium on Effective Governance and AI Transformation. The link to this annual regional symposium is also being provided through the chat. Yes. Now this concludes the Youth Forum. Let's really give ourselves a big round of applause. And I also would like to extend warm thanks and congratulations to a great team behind the scene working very hard in organizing this Youth Forum. Thank you very much. I wish you all a very nice day. And I also really hope that we can keep in touch. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you.